Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, November 29th, well into the holiday season. Coming up on December, getting ready for Christmas. Fair warning, if you're trying to sneak a turkey sandwich, we will get you. You will be busted. You will be brought forth for justice because yesterday was the last day you could have Thanksgiving leftovers. Unless you properly froze them or vacuum sealed, it's time. Toss them out. Get your Christmas trees up if you got them. Put some lights up if you're festive. But we're here for basketball, and man, I tell you, last night was amazing. So many highlights last night to discuss and talk about. Joel Embiid makes his return. Pascal Siakam's back. We did have an injury with Carl Anthony Towns, hoping that it's just a calf strain, but grade 3 is serious. The Hawks and Lakers take the L's, and I tell you what, we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics because they look inevitable. We'll be back in 20. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thank you for making part of your day part of Hoop Spaces. Uh, I lost count of the days of how long I've been doing this. I will get a firm day for you so that I could let you know that consistency matters. And I appreciate you consistently showing up. And as you consistently show up, you have heard me consistently ask for one thing to like and retweet the show card. I want to shout out Jay the Wakandan for always alluding to that when he's up here. And I want to go ahead and thank personally the 8 people that are already out there: Joe, Malika, Fantasy Impact, Highboy Alex, Sean with the W, of course, Justin Patton, Miami, and Voss. Appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate you retweeting and letting the world know. If you want to get Mike, go ahead, raise your hands, and we'll get you up here as soon as possible. Um, Long morning for myself. I've been doing a newsletter. I took time off for the holiday. There's less basketball. Had to travel. But in the course of the week, I had a meeting with Playback. It looks like we'll be doing some live watch parties with Playback. I want to talk to you about that. But I came to the decision, like, I was going to try to do what I was doing for the newsletter on the website and then add that to the newsletter. And I'm telling you now, after 2 days of trying to do it, like, I am not going to do that. It's a little bit too labor intensive. So I've come up with a better way. We're gonna redo this website that we have to feature what we do here, as well as the creators that work with us, like Jose down below, Justin Patton down below. And we're going to make it like a more streamlined approach just to focus on what we're really good at, which is just really making content. And then we'll be able to bring back the newsletter, and then the website will be basically a catch-all. With that, also, merchandise will be coming soon. We'll be getting that up. We'll be using probably Printify. Maybe there's another one I might decide. And we'll get that up probably within 7 to 10 days. And, we're going to take another leap of growth here pretty soon come the turn of the new year. And I'm excited because I'm about a week away, maybe a little more than a week of finding out whether or not I can become a partner with the NBA officially through the NBA Launchpad program. So there's plenty of growth getting ready to come. Season 2 of Hoop Spaces. Appreciate everybody coming in. I see Ira Burner in here, Bella Bell's in here, John, of course. I already said shout outs to Jose and Justin. I see Santa Rosa, Elon Musk, Afisha. It's great to see you. We'll go ahead and go through the scores, ladies and gentlemen, from last night. It featured 2 stars coming back with Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam. First up, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, coached by the great Doc Rivers, come back to secure a victory against the Atlanta Hawks, 104-101. Joel Embiid, 30 points in the return, including the game go-ahead bucket with 14 seconds left, the defensive disruption, and icing the game out on the free throw line. The Wizards beat the Timberwolves 142 to 127 with the Kristaps Porzingis 40 burger. He had 41 in the victory. Anthony Edwards 29 in the defeat. Scary moment. Karl Anthony Towns goes down with a grade 3 calf strain. We'll get more into that in a little bit later because that's actually far serious than what people remember. And also, if you remember, that's what Kevin Durant had before he tore his Achilles. We'll get into that. The Celtics dropped 140 on the Charlotte Hornets, 140-105. Marcus Smart, 22 and 15. Kelly Oubre Jr., the only offensive weapon for Charlotte. He's going to get a bigger contract, so shout out to Kelly Oubre, 22 points in the loss. The Nets win 109-102 with a Kevin Durant masterpiece of 45 points. Bobo looked phenomenal, and I had a question posed to me, and I want to shout out this question. Is Victor Wembanyama merely Bobo just ahead of schedule? And that would be interesting because I put a tweet out yesterday. Could you imagine a starting five of Franz Wagner, Victor Wembanyama, Bobo, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr.? I'll get that tweet up there. Let that sink in with you. The Raptors, 100 over the Cavs, 88 in the return of Pascal Siakam, who was supposed to be on a minutes restriction and somehow still played 30 minutes, 18 points and 11 boards. Darius Garland, 18 and 10 in the loss. But the real story in this game, ladies and gentlemen, was Donovan Mitchell is going to have a hard time playing the Toronto Raptors. And this might be a matchup worth watching if they are to meet up in a 7-game series in the NBA playoffs. The Pelicans win 105-101 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shout out ESPN for running a graphic saying that the only player to exceed a certain amount of points, rebounds, and yada, 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 other than Zion Williamson in his first 100 games was Michael Jordan. To my response was, yeah, but how many seasons did that take, right? Let's be honest. Had he played the first 100, maybe he gets it, maybe not. We don't know. The Nuggets beat the Rockets, ending their winning streak 129-113. Nikola Jokic doing Nikola Jokic things, 32-12-8. The Bulls beat the Jazz, proving that the Jazz are the Jazz that we thought they may be. 32 points and 9 boards for Lauri Markkanen in the loss. DeMar DeRozan out of his shooting slump, 26 and 6. The Suns beat the Kings 122-117, getting revenge. Devin Booker, 44 points, 8 boards and 6 steals. Malik Monk, 30 and 8 in the loss. And Andrew Nembhard out of Gonzaga, second-round pick who got basically the Jalen Brunson deal because the Pacers believed in him, even though they already traded for Tyrese Halliburton. Hits a game-winning 3 over LeBron, 116-115. Pacers over the Lakers. Tyrese Halliburton, 24 points, 7 boards, 14 assists. And I say again, the only 2 point guards who are producing more are Luka Doncic and Steph Curry. When are we going to start talking about Tyrese Halliburton being a legit all-star starter? Not just on the team, but a starter, because he's having a phenomenal year. And there you go. There are the scores, ladies and gentlemen. Get your hands up if you want to come on up. Please, the very first tweet is what I ask that you like and retweet. It is the engagement factor that we need. And I'd like to also remind you that we are brought to you by our sponsor, slamgoods.com. And I'm actually going to get a tweet up here with some Slam Goods stuff in a few moments. You can check them out over at slamgoods.com. We have a promo code with them because they believe in what we're building here. That promo code is HoopSpaces. And if you use it at slamgoods.com, you'll save 15% off of your entire purchase. And I'm telling you now, they've got apparel such as the Slam X off-made flight jacket for those who are in like a milder climate and you're not getting a lot of snow. It's sleek. It's the military style. It's dope. I kind of want it. It's $220, but if you use promo code HoopSpaces, you would actually save yourself over $30. So it's a good deal. So if you're looking for something like that for yourself for the holidays, go ahead and check it out. But, the cool thing is you can also check out the collectibles or the collections of bobbleheads, fat heads, and Funko Pops, and you can get some gifts for the family member who's a fan in your life. Promo code HoopSpaces at slamgoods.com. Thank you. We're powered by audiolabs.io. If you ever miss an episode, you can head over to our YouTube channel and you will see it in full, unedited, unredacted, because for us, we truly do believe in free speech. So we do want you to hear every fan's opinion. I'll start, dealing with the editing to cut some stuff up for, promos, I guess. I don't really want to, but apparently I'm told that's what I need to do. We also have just signed up Sundays Are for Basketball. Shout out to Justin Patton, our YouTube director. Let's give him a round of applause. And Jonathan Hattie Hart Harris, ladies and gentlemen, giving you the goofy commentary. Sundays Are for Basketball. So this is going to break it down in a comical way. And you can check it out up top right now. You can see it. And he's talking about the Porzingis 41. So go ahead and check that out over on the HoopSpaces YouTube channel. And there, powered by audiolabs.io. Man, what a hell of an opener, Jay. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about. There's so much to talk about. What I will say is, as a neutral observer, the apology to Coach Vaughn in Brooklyn should be as loud as the disrespect was.
Now, remember, somebody says that, and he might want some credit. So did you take that from somebody?
Nah, I did that on purpose. I know what I'm doing here.
All right.
Since it was an issue last time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. So, Jay, you've been in the show now, since the beginning, right?
For sure.
It's been amazing. Just real quick, what are your thoughts from then to now?
This has wormed its way into my daily routine, and I really think of this as a community, and I enjoy it. Like, I think of you as a friend, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the people that come up here regularly for the most part, and I just enjoy talking basketball because for me and my schedule, it's like there were 10, 12 games last night. I can't watch them all. So like
Yeah.
having people in to tell me about games that I just could not watch, was great. Like, I really enjoy the show.
All right, appreciate it. Joe, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
Ooh,
I also consider you as a friend. And I want you to give your ding to yourself because you have been on this Halliburton, and oh my goodness, you are so right. We played him the last game we lost, but the IQ on that young man is incredible. I'm just saying, like incredible. And you also called something yesterday that I was trying to comment on, but I was having problems with Twitter. You said something. You said something along the lines of Bam Adebayo has to be the best player on the Heat for them to make it. And I said that in the off season, and I got saying score for it. But saying I leave it to you because I feel like you're more saying intelligent with this basketball. But that Tyrese Halliburton, wow, like incredible. Like you've been on point with that.
I appreciate it. Just real quick, you found us, I think, last season, Joe. What have your thoughts been from then to now?
I have been, I guess, to say, brainwashed with the media. Saying like I used to DVR, First Take, watch Sports Center all the time, and stuff like that. But sorry, that's my niece. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's my niece. But what I'm saying, when you come in here, you get a general like bias and just great intelligent speak about basketball, and saying you get addicted to it. and saying you run it very, very well, Chris. So saying kudos to you.
All right, appreciate it. Just trying to get some testimonials out there because you never know what who's listening. But more importantly, I wanted to echo that sentiment because that's what I felt like we've been able to create here with the help of content creators and people who are just fans of basketball. All right, so I just put it up there. I checked. They do not have the Tim Duncan Funko Pop, but they have a pre-order. They got a whole rack of new Funko Pops over at Slam Goods, our sponsor. So head over to Slam Goods and check it out. They have a Ray Allen Seattle Supersonics Funko Pop with the number 34. It's literally $20. Saves yourself 15% with the promo code HoopSpaces. Like just like do it. It's dope. And I tell you what, anybody who's a basketball fan will actually enjoy that. And if you go over there and check it out, it's not an actual regular Funko Pop like you go into the store. It's actually a limited Slam edition. This is Slam 87. And when you see the packaging, you'll see what I mean. You'll see the Slam logo on the bottom left. All right, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor because like that's pretty dope. Not gonna lie. We'll be working on getting another sponsor. I don't want to drop the name, but I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you do play basketball. If you're looking for some comfort for, well, I don't want to say that. That'll give it away. I'll be talking to them later this week. All right, there we go. Jay, you are first up from last night. What do you want to talk about? We'll get your game first, and then I'll go ahead and talk some Sixers and Hawks.
Well, the Wizards have been my league pass team. So I watched them. Prayers up for Cat. Hopefully that's not an Achilles. Um, and watching Kyle Kuzma be the do-it-all engine of the Wizards, and that allows Bill to kind of be a shooting guard instead of the combo guard people want him to be, and it allows Porzingis to kind of float around and be a catch and shoot option so that the Wizards can play this kind of like funky 5 out style that kind of works. And they're remember like a week or so ago, I was like, the Wizards don't take a lot of threes, so they're not hitting them. And now they're starting to hit them. And the Wizards, if they're shooting competently from three, they could be a decent play-in team. So that was exciting to see. And there was a Johnny Davis sighting, and I was very excited for all of those 4 minutes. 3 fouls in 4 minutes, which I
Three
found amazing.
fouls, and two of them were bad. They were bad fouls, man. They were like Vernon Carey trying to rotate and get a block and like running through somebody fouls.
Yes. Yes, they were.
I feel so bad for this young man. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, because he was drafted at 10 and he's not getting any burn. And Usman Dieng with the Thunder is getting 15. Jalen Williams at 12 is getting 24 and a half. Jalen Duren is getting 21, basically rounded up to 22. AJ Griffin's getting 17 and a half at drafted 16. Torrey Easton's getting 18 a game. And Jake LaRavia at 19 is getting 18 a game. And so that's the other thing when I watch the Wizards is if they had any of those, six players, how much better would the Wizards be? Because they would
Like,
have a playable rookie.
well, like the killer part is Jordan Goodwin is getting burned.
Yes. Yes.
Jordan Goodwin is a 24-year-old rookie out of St. Louis University. If you don't remember, I think he was on that tourney team that got to the field at 32.
I believe so. I have to look it up. But yeah,
I have
I
to look
mean,
it up too.
yeah. So when they're healthy and CRISPR, who I think they need to kind of trade, because when they're healthy, I think he's just redundant. But the Wizards have a couple of redundant pieces on this roster, and so
Yeah, Will
it's gonna
Barton's is falling out of the rotation because of the redundancy.
yeah, Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with the deadline. I got to look up, do they own their own pick or not? Because this is a weird.
Well,
Uh,
I can tell you this much. Taj Gibson has supplanted Daniel Gafford as the first big for Kristaps off the bench. You would have Daniel Gafford, Crispert, and Barton. It would cost all under 20 mil. Kispert's on his rookie. Daniel's got a pretty moderate extension. And when he's had Burn, he's been a good defender and good pick and roll guy. So like he'll be movable. Barton will be movable because he's on an expiring, I believe. So like they have like the people to make a trade, and that's not even counting Rui Hachimura, who I still don't think they'll trade. I think they're just going to drag it out and sign him to one of those 2 year deals. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I can see a trade.
they don't own their pick, by the way. The Knicks own it. So
But
tanking is not an option, but
yeah,
I think,
their
like you
trade
said, they have enough pieces to get something.
their
Um,
trade would have to be for a point guard.
See, the thing is with Kuzma, I wouldn't go point guard. I would go big guard that can handle the ball. So like a Jordan Clarkson. So he's not a point, but
He
allows
he runs on point though. Like that's the role he's got when Conley's not on the floor in Utah.
right. But that's kind of what the Wizards need is they need a guy who can be off ball to let Kuzma kind of run the show. But when Kuzma's not on the floor, Jordan Clarkson can kind of captain the bench unit. But I don't think of Jordan Clarkson as a quote unquote point guard. Like it's not. It wouldn't be the same thing as them getting like a T.J. McConnell or
Oh
McLaughlin
yeah,
off of
they don't
Minnesota.
need a T.J. McConnell. I like the Jordan Clarkson idea. That would be a great fit. So all he would need to do is continue to do what he's doing in Utah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, the Wizards are sneaky good, man. They're 11-10. No, they're is that right? Yeah, 11-10. So
Yeah.
and they're 8-4 at home, which is also a really good sign. Early, I mean, it's early days, but if they're a good home team and they're healthy, usually that pretends to be a playing team. So
All right, so
we'll see.
let me get these stats out here. The Wizards started, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Kuzma, Denny, Avija. I'm just gonna mess that name up for the rest of my life. Kristaps Porzingis, Monte Morris, and Bradley Beal. 23 points from Kuzma, who did his best Pascal Siakam impression. 23, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Bradley Beal, 22 and 5, 9 for 14, and he's looking as though he doesn't need to necessarily be the dominant scorer. He's really developing this nuanced game, and I actually enjoy watching it. Kristaps Porzingis with the 40 burger, 41 points, 6 for 10 from deep, perfect from the line. Achilles heel of the Washington Wizards, though, is going to be rebounding. They just happened to deal with the team that lost Cat due to injury 22 minutes into the game. The Timberwolves started Gobert, Towns, Russell, Rivers. That's right. Austin Rivers got another start in the NBA. I'm still trying to figure out why, but here we are. And Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns goes down in 22 minutes with a grade 3 calf strain. Okay, a grade 3 calf strain is severe. It is a complete tear to at least half of the calf muscle. So if you just put your hand down your leg, right, and feel the muscle, that's the calf muscle. That's the muscle prior to the Achilles, okay? And that means at grade 3, half at least is torn. It's severe. Like we're talking months out. And if you remember, Kevin Durant had a calf injury. I don't believe it was a grade 3. And then he came back, and then that's when he had ruptured the Achilles. Because the Achilles and your knee will overcompensate for the muscle tear. And that's just not good. We've got Jay, Bakari, Joe, John. Sundays is for basketball are up here. We ask that everybody shoot everybody a follow, and then also like and retweet the show card. We'll go first to Jay. Jay, your thoughts on Minnesota as you watch the game, and then we'll go around the room.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Again, Nah, the Timberwolves, they Chris Finch wants them to shoot threes, and this is a bad three shooting team. Um, I don't mind Cat pulling up 7 times a game. But every like Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, they should be shooting like at the top end 4 threes a game, and those should be like wide open. They shouldn't be like the license they have to shoot above the break threes and dribble step back threes. Like those should be like quick timeouts and you're benched because they're just not good at it. And the other thing is that Gobert tries to be a defensive captain, but people don't listen. There were several times where um, Porzingis is his man because Porzingis is at the five in his funky lineup, and they run a pick and roll. And Gobert is like, "All right, well, I'm a soft hedge. You press up on Kristaps because that way it makes him run the action again, and we can switch back." And then they don't do it, and then Kristaps has an open catch and shoot, or Kristaps gets to drive into somebody's body and draw a free throw, and it's just it's not that I think that Chris Finch is a bad coach. I think this is Mike D'Antoni coaching Pat Riley's Knicks situation. Like it is just zigging when it should zag. Um,
I I can
and
see that.
Kuzma, and the other thing about Kuzma is no turnovers. That's the other thing that was impressive last night was he was under control. He didn't get into an ego thing. Um, he's really maturing as a player, and I think he likes being the guy in Washington. And I don't think it, but it's a very different thing than watching Jalen Green in Houston. Like Jalen Green wants to be the guy in the sense of he wants to. Jalen Green is perfectly happy putting up 30 on a 30-win team,
Well,
whereas
what
Kuzma,
that's what maturity does for you.
right,
Like,
right, yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
um
Whereas Kuzma is just trying to make the right basketball play.
Anthony Edwards, 29 points and 8 rebounds. He was 1 for 6. D'Angelo Russell, 17 points, 5 assists. He was 1 for 7 from deep. Rudy Gobert, 19 and 7. He was perfect though. 7 for 7 from the floor, 5 for 5 from the free throw. And I'm wondering if they'll start doing some more roll action. Noel, we have a Jalen Noel signing who actually came on last season. He had a great game off the bench. Unfortunately, it was due to the injury of Cat. 9 for 13. He had 23 points. I've been asking for the Timberwolves to start him because he's the only player who does what he's supposed to do all the time. Like that's it. I mean, I guess Rudy is too, but like Rudy's just limited offensively. But at least Jalen Noel knows what he's supposed to do, which is get downhill and score. You know, so there you go. Minnesota Timberwolves played their clone in the Washington Wizards, and the Wizards won. Bakari, John, Joe, Sundays are for basketball. Anything you want to add into this one before we move on to the next game?
Yeah, about the Minnesota. So, how severe you think the injury to Cat is?
Well, if it is a grade 3, he's out at least 3 months. I would probably say the season.
I believe the MRIs today.
Yeah, it should be. And if they can't get it today, that's a bad sign because it means the swelling hasn't gone down. But I'm assuming that they'll get the MRI and get a better thing. But if they go in already saying grade 3, like you're talking 3 months out, rehab ramp, and you're talking maybe March, April in time for the playoffs.
Well,
Maybe.
the problem with that is, they gave up all those picks, so they can't really tank.
That's what I'm
And
saying. Like it's a shame because they gave up all those picks, and now we might lose Cat for the season. That's a
Well,
shame.
yeah. I get it. It is a shame. Um, I would say that this could be something where it can bring a team a little bit together. Maybe Anthony Edwards blossoms into something a little bit more than what he is currently. Maybe D'Angelo Russell, finally loads up. Maybe Gobert becomes a pick and roll monster. But let's be honest. Like your best player, probably he just went down. He's out, and it's gonna be a tough sled. But like you gotta figure it out. And I would say Chris Finch, coming from the Toronto camp, actually probably understands this. Is they do a pretty good job of handling teams after their star goes down. Jay, keep it 30 seconds.
If you're the GM of the Timberwolves, are you thinking, and I know this is off the wall, are you thinking about maybe making some trades, i.e., of Anthony Edwards to get draft capital back because you know you're going to be bad for the rest of the season? Or are you
No,
hoping that because of the lane is going to be bigger
If they're
because
going
you're
to be
not going
trading
to have
nah.
big.
Edwards,
Tim
uh,
Connolly's coming from the Nuggets. He's not gonna trade Ant unless he has to trade
it's
Ant.
probably D'Angelo.
Well,
It's
there's been no
probably
secret.
D'Angelo.
There's been no secret of them saying D'Angelo would be available. The issue is, does anybody want to trade for D'Angelo? And right now
Right.
the answer is no.
Yeah. Because I
It's
think they should try to get some draft capital. Because I think the Timberwolves are going to play better than people think with Cat out because the lane is going to be bigger. But I don't know if they're going to have this heroic thing where they're a top four seed. You know what I mean?
well, I know what you mean. I think we'll see Kyle Anderson start, and I think we'll probably see a minor trade. Um, there's a couple names that I always throw out that I think would be good fits for this, and one of them is Mike Muscala, somebody who can get you 5, 6 rebounds, take a couple threes from the perimeter to stretch the floor, keep the lane open. Sundays is for basketball. Our man Jonathan, holding it down. He is now aboard the YouTube HoopSpaces channel. We'll be reformatting the website to put some of the content that both he and Justin Patton and some of the other creators we have are going to be creating for you. Think of it like a walking, YouTube content dispensary of basketball goodness. If you love goofiness and comedy, which I do, you need to check out Sundays are for basketball, or is for basketball. You can check it out on YouTube. John, how you doing this morning?
What's up, my guy Chris? Thank you for the intro. And yeah, I'm very excited to be teaming up with you, man, and getting this content for everybody on YouTube. Very excited about that, man. But Chris, you know what time it is, Chris. You know what happened last night. And you know who's a top five seed in the East. I came in here, Chris. They said, oh, it's a wrap for y'all, man. Oh, Joel Embiid's out now. Tyrese Maxey's out. James Harden's out. Clap your hands, everybody, for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yo, y'all woke up the beast, man. And I know y'all saying, John, who's the beast? Who's the beast? Who you talking about, John? I'm talking about the Philadelphia 76ers bench. That's who I'm talking about. Y'all was like, yo, the bench sucks. Even I said the bench sucks. I didn't know what was going on out here, guys. People were looking crazy. PJ Tucker hasn't scored a basket in 3 months. I don't know what's happening. All I know is you woke up Shake Milton. You woke up Cork Miles. George Niang has always been my guy, but now he's just out here showing y'all. He's talking trash to Kevin Durant. He's making reverse layups. He's shooting threes in your eye. He's doing whatever he wants out here, people. Shake Milton's out here averaging 26 points ever since the boys went down. And who else is out here doing it? I mean, everybody is, man. We got D'Anthony Melton doing this thing. Joel Embiid comes back last night, and I know what y'all wanted to say. You guys think you're slick in here. You wanted to say, oh, as soon as Joel Embiid came back, the Sixers lost again. No, sir, not today, baby. 30-10 on their head. We got another win on the Hawks. You're not going to start these narratives. My Joel Embiid MVP, our agenda will go back when we get the top four seed. For right now, it's still Steph Curry, but Joel Embiid's coming. He's the boogeyman, and you guys know what time it is. And Chris, let me give a shout out one time to my boy Doc Rivers for Chris. Doc Rivers, what did he tell y'all? That's 3 wins in a row. PJ Tucker can't even score a basket. Do y'all see PJ Tucker out there getting his cardio in? How much is he making, Chris? He's making too much money, man. He's making too much money to get that cardio in. But I'm hyped. that we are the top 5 seed right now, guys. I'm also very hyped to be on the HoopSpaces YouTube. If y'all get a chance, please give me a follow, and also go check out Goofy Commentary. I just put Porzingis up last night, 41. And one more thing, man, about these Timberwolves. Y'all ain't going nowhere because you got Rudy, Barbecue Chicken Gobert. This man still can't get out on the perimeter and do a damn thing, but he's supposed to be the defensive player of the year. Y'all better stop playing in my face.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Sundays is for basketball. And Jonathan Hattie Hart Harris is here for you and all that smoke. You know who knew? I knew. You know how I knew? Because of Doc Rivers' greatness. That's how I knew.
Sadly, you guys are not winning the championship. But
sadly, it doesn't matter, Bakari, because the winning of the championship or not has no weight on the greatness that is Doc Rivers.
If this bench keeps it up, you better look out, people. And if Joel Embiid gets a ring, oh my gosh, I'm setting the Twitter world on fire. I'm setting the Twitter world on fire, and that's a fire that you can never extinguish, people.
Hey, Chris, when you started this Doc Rivers agenda early, I really didn't know if you was trolling or you was serious. But Doc Rivers is making you look good right now, I have to say. That's one thing I have to say.
There you go. I had somebody who didn't hear the read, so I'm going to do the read again because I want to make sure everybody hears the read because that's what reads are for. We are brought to you by Slam Goods. Head over to Slam Goods now. Use promo code HoopSpaces, one word. Save 15%, 15% off your entire purchase site-wide. And if you look there, I put a tweet up. It has the Ray Allen Funko Pop from Seattle. Like, you got to get it. It's $20. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15. That's $3 off. Buy it. You know, if you got a basketball fan, buy it. If you got a collectible fan, buy it. If you want to start a collectible, that's actually a dope one to start with. We're also powered by audiolabs.io. If you ever miss any of the show, head over to our YouTube channel and it'll be there. Also on our YouTube channel, we just have added Sundays is for basketball. We have already added Justin Patton, JP the franchise, who is now our YouTube coordinator. And for the content creators down below, if you have some YouTube content that you want on our channel as we continue to grow a better basketball community, that's the person you want to reach out to. So make sure you shoot him a follow and then maybe shoot him a DM saying, hey, here's my YouTube content. Would love to see what you think about it. It's that simple. Building a better basketball community and world. All right, if you're down below, you want to get up, like, and retweet the show card. There's the read. There's Jay the Wakandan coming in. Philadelphia 104, Atlanta 101. Let me get this game score in here with some stats, and then Jay will come in with this game. The Atlanta Hawks started John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. The 76ers started Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Shake Milton, and DeAnthony Melton. That's right. 5-on-4 basketball, ladies and gentlemen, as PJ Tucker is on his way to usurp Tony Snell and have the award renamed the PJ Tucker Award. 28 minutes, 0 field goal attempts, 0 free throws, 0 offensive rebounds, 0 blocks, 0 steals, 0 assists, 3 defensive rebounds for PJ Tucker in 28 minutes of action.
Disgusting work by PJ, guys. Disgusting work.
3 years, $30 million.
But as you know, he's not paid for November. He's being paid for April, May, June.
86 shots were taken by the 76ers, and not one shot by PJ Tucker.
If I have to see PJ Tucker take another floater, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cry.
See, John, I get what you're saying, but we were told PJ Tucker was gonna shoot the 3 from the corner.
That's all I want to say. Can you give me 1 corner 3 a game, just so I can think we're
right
gonna be
now?
Give me something.
Matisse Thybulle is shooting better than PJ Tucker because at least Matisse Thybulle shoots the ball.
No,
I was just about to say that.
But wasn't Matisse like on the doghouse early on in this season?
He's
Oh, he's
still in
still
the
in the doghouse, man.
doghouse.
Oh, he's
Like
absolutely still in the doghouse.
he had the highest box score plus minus. He had 8 minutes. He was 2 for 2. Doc Rivers is just dragging him through the mud. He's like, I think what Doc is saying is like, I'm gonna make you so pissed by the time I start playing you, you're just gonna be mad at the world. Watch out
Chris,
for Matisse Thybulle.
Chris, you said his contract was 3 years, 30 million.
Yeah.
So that's 10 million this season. You know who, a similar contract? Robert Williams, the third, a defensive player of the year candidate, gets paid $44 million total for 4 years. That's 11 million. So there's $1 more million. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, just the
Yeah, but
greatness
you
of
know
Brad's
what?
defense. You know?
The problem is that the not greatness of Ime Udoka ran him into the ground with a bad knee, and we might not ever see what Robert Williams really would have became. That's my worry.
I think he's gonna be fine though. He's been rested. You know.
Okay.
You're paying for the premium for what what the Time Lord did last postseason. So
Yeah. Look,
this is just
all,
to
all I know
Jew the war.
is Doc Rivers is so great that like literally he can play 28 minutes a professional basketball player who takes 0 shots. Jay, what's
Dennis
up?
I love
Rodman.
how Chris is using this to prop up Doc Rivers, though. It's actually hilarious.
We need we need the greatest of Doc Rivers to be able to diagram a play for PJ Tucker to shoot a corner three.
No, he diagrams a play for PJ Tucker to get the ball to drive baseline to pass. That's what he's diagramming. And I am not lying, by the way. That like literally that is what he has diagrammed. Jay, go ahead, hop in here. Keep it 60.
Yeah. I would argue that the move that the 76ers need to make on December 15th at midnight is the trade of James Harden. With James Harden, the 76ers are 4-5. Without James Harden, they're 8-4. It is not necessarily the greatness of Doc Rivers. It is the suckiness of Mateen Cleaves with a step back. Thank you.
You and this
What is going
anti
on?
James Harden propaganda. Like Mateen Cleaves, man. That is rough. Hurts my
But
feelings.
at some point they're
If
gonna
you
have to
trade
make a
James Harden
choice.
for Gordon Hayward, you're a better team.
Did he just say Gordon Hayward
I
with a
did.
Hey,
straight
y'all
face?
first reason?
He said
You know
Gordon
what's
Hayward with
crazy?
a straight face. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I love this
the salaries probably
That
match.
is funny.
I
James
want to
Harden.
shout out. I want to shout out TJ down below. TJ has given himself a bet. He thought we weren't paying attention, but we were paying attention. He says if Joel Embiid wins the championship, he will be a Duke fan for a year. Yeah. You didn't think I
You
was
know who
going to
else I
catch that?
want to see? You know who
What?
else I want to see, Chris?
What?
I see you down there, Malika. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide, Malika. I see you
Why,
down there.
why,
Listen,
why are
Malika,
you
get
tormenting
up here.
Malika?
I want to talk to you.
Why are you trying to
I'm
torment Malika? She's
I'm
wonderful.
enjoying the wrestling promo.
Malika knows what she does. She better get up here on this stage. We got to talk, Malika.
All right, real quick. John Collins, 13-8. Clint Capella, 10-16. DeAndre Hunter had 18. Trey Young and DeJounte Murray. Trey Young and DeJounte Murray combined for 35 points, 16 assists, 7 boards, and bad shooting, 12 for 27. And then what I mean bad, it was more so the shots they decided to take. Justin Holiday, 16 points off the bench. But it was Joel Embiid, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Shake Milton, 21-7. Really, really better in the second half. DeAndre Melton couldn't hit his side of the barn, but he played real good defense. PJ Tucker, God, 28 minutes. Tobias Harris, everybody was crying about Tobias Harris and his contract. 24 points and 10 boards on 10 for 18. If it wasn't for Tobias Harris, Doc Rivers wouldn't be able to exude the greatness on the court. They have this great chemistry from their times back in Los Angeles. Then you
He's
have
so
George
nasty.
Niang, 9 points off the bench, 3 for 7. I mean, he had this three, and he just like stared into the soul of DeAndre Hunter, saying, "Nice try again." All right, there you go. Malika, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, sitting here working and getting called out for Philly midness. I mean, I don't care about Philly and what y'all do. Like, you're the one obsessed with Ben Simmons and what he does and doesn't do. I care less about the intermittent effort player and the greatness, but Joel Embiid is great. Joel Embiid is great, and he deserves a championship. I hope he gets one. Like Joel Embiid is the one player in Philly that I actually wouldn't mind seeing win a ring. That's straight up. More than a lot of players in the NBA, I want to see Joel Embiid with a ring, and that's being honest. But I could care less about Philly.
All right,
But
so the question of the
yeah,
day: who's the better team as we get ready to talk Brooklyn Nets, Sixers, or Nets?
Nets.
All right, polls up there, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's where she messed up.
No,
That's
I
where
don't
she
ever
messed up, people.
care
She was
about
doing
Philly.
good, people. She
No,
was doing good.
I don't
Uh,
care about anything going on in Philly but Joel Embiid. So what? Like, I
all
don't
right,
care.
How's he messed up?
the next game we
You'll
got
find out, girl.
109, 109, 102, Brooklyn over Orlando. I just want to remind everybody that the 76ers beat Orlando with the greatness of Doc Rivers, 133 to 103. The Magic started Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Bobo, Gary Harris, who's back from injury, and Caleb Houston, a rookie. The Brooklyn Nets started Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, Nicholas Claxton, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons out after 11 minutes due to left knee soreness. Kyrie Irving, 20 points and 3 assists. Nicholas Claxton, 17 and 13, 3 blocks. Royce O'Neal, 5 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And a masterclass by one Kevin Durant, 45 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 19 for 24 from the field. Paulo Banchero and Bobo both had 24. Franz had 21, and Gary Harris had 19. Big shout out to Bobo, proving the haters wrong. There you go.
No,
We'll
respect the Bobo for real. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. We'll go to Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod first. Diehard Brooklyn Nets fan. Congratulations on the win. You already said the Nets were better than the Sixers. I disagree, but I digress. What did you see from last night's game?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the Sixers like ever. Like no. But with the Nets, yeah, last night, I'm glad we got the win, but um, I'm just, like Royce O'Neal is getting cardio for the most part. Um, that trade that Sean Marks did was, I'm not exactly, a lot of Nets world is not exactly pleased with that trade. I mean, we gave up draft picks for Royce O'Neal. Like, are you serious? So, that trade, and then we have Patty Mills sitting there, um, who, what a mess, right? Um, on paper, you know what? Philly is better than us right now. I mean, I'm praying that, and that's just being honest. I'll be glad with TJ Warren's not in our lineup yet. And I'm assuming we're going to be making some moves at the trade, and he's coming off a serious injury. Who knows if he is going to help us this year? So Sean Marks, you better be doing something by the trade deadline, because the way this team is constructed, it's not going to work right now. But KD gave a masterclass. Kyrie got some shots in. Clax, he needs to chill with the celebrating and just do his thing. Last night he did better, but he still, he has to showboat a little bit here and there. So we expect technicals now because he just refuses to let that go. Um, but we got the W. We're at 500. Shit, we're celebrating it. Like 500. We made it. So let's just move on from here and we move.
All
Um,
right.
we're gonna be home for 2 weeks, so
Let's
let's
get
see how we do.
let's get Joe the historian in here, another Brooklynite. Joe, your thoughts on the game last night?
Um, my thoughts is that I think Kyrie Irving is one of the best players that I mean I love even since he's been playing, but I really am kind of upset that that whole thing happened and we didn't get Adoka for this reason right here. I'm not pleased with his rotations, Jock Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Like I think his rotations are the reason why we lost the game in Indiana. But last night, the rotations, if it wasn't for, like you said, a masterclass from KD, we would have lost that game. And, and the thing about it was that he refused to use his youth and saying the defense. Like I know Joe Harris is one of the best shooters and stuff like that, but we we've been waiting for him to be what he is for like 3 seasons already. So I'm just done with that spirit. Like I'm done with that. But it's just that it's a lot of low IQ players on our team, and it makes it so hard to watch sometimes. And you know what I'm saying? I would never say that the Sixers are better than us. But you know what I'm saying? Like I thought in the beginning of the season, if James Harden came back and be who he is, that y'all would have a better record than us. But no, I will never say y'all better than us. But yeah, it's a lot of uh,
Like I like how you
I can't
said,
do it.
"Well, you got a better record than us," but I'm not going to say you're better than us. Well, you just said
No,
we are better than you.
I'm just saying like what I'm saying I just can't say it. But I
But
thought
you
that
just said it. You did. You give yourself a round of applause because you just said it.
I, oh anyway. Anyway, but
Uh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, but I have to say, like Doc Rivers is making you get that prediction. He's been coaching. So, you know what I'm saying? I give that to you.
real
But
quick.
but real quick, the reason
What?
why I don't think the Sixers are going anywhere. I don't care if they're all healthy. They have Donald. They have their coach Doc Rivers. And he
Well, I was
will
going to
come through.
say,
He
you know,
will
what's really
come
funny
through in the
is
playoffs.
I could see a path where Brooklyn hires Doc Rivers as their next coach.
They better not.
Oh, I can see it happening.
Chris, I
Yeah,
said
I,
we was friends earlier.
they better leave him in Philly. Leave him in
I
Philly.
oh
Leave him in
wait, I
Philly.
can see it happening. Look, just look at Doc Rivers' track record and the amount of times he spent and where he's coached, right? He wins where he goes, but as sooner or later, even though he's winning, it's just time to move on. It's a natural progression. And Jacques Vaughn, he's a coach, but he doesn't have the greatness of Doc Rivers. And with the veteran teams such as Brooklyn, I mean, I could see how they would benefit from the greatness of Doc Rivers. Sundays for basketball. What are your thoughts?
Well, well, well. If we don't have Malik up here, if we don't have Joe up here, the Brooklyn Nets fans are up here spitting nasty game to you people. Let me tell you guys something. These guys come up here, they tell you the Nets are better than the Sixers. Why would y'all say that with a straight face and lie to us like that? Did y'all not watch on November 22nd? When Benjamin Simmons had his revenge game, he came to Philly and lost to the Sixers bench. Please raise your hands if you saw that. Are you guys crazy? This
He
guy
actually
came
played a
back to
good
Philly.
game. I'm sorry. He
This
played a
guy
good
came
game.
back to Philly and thought he was going to do so. He shushed the crowd when he made a layup. What is going on here, people? This man had 11 points. He got outplayed by George Niang, DeAnthony Melton. Are you guys? And PJ Tucker didn't score that game either, and we still beat you with the bench. What is wrong with y'all, Brooklyn Nets? You guys are delusional. You're
That was a
crazy. I
bad
don't
game.
understand.
Philly ain't
I don't
going
understand where
nowhere.
y'all. What are you
Philly
guys doing?
ain't going nowhere. I don't
We're
know
a
This
what
top
is
y'all
five
are
seed, Malika.
praising.
Okay,
Philly is going to be right. Philly is going to end up home. They ain't going
we're a
nowhere.
top.
Boston,
No,
I
yeah,
should
we're gonna
say.
end up home
Boston.
in our playoff series when we play you bums that barely make it out of the
Y'all
playing
going
tournament.
home. Y'all going
man. We
home.
When you
got
Don't
guys
worry about it.
You
How
guys
much how much coffee do you drink in the morning?
You going home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. You going home.
yeah, we're gonna
So
have a
it's all
home
good.
game,
Well,
game
I
one
actually
when we
I
play
kind
the
of want to
Brooklyn Nets.
answer like do you drink coffee? Like how much do you drink? How many
Do
cups
I
of
do I
coffee do
drink
you?
coffee, Chris? No,
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee. I'm just excited that my boys are back and we're top five seed and we got the Brooklyn Nets in here lying to our face. This is sick behavior from Joe and Malika. This is
I
crazy.
tell you, this
Well,
is
you
like
got the intermittent effort player. Y'all
This
will
is
be
the
all right.
funniest
Y'all
interaction
will
I've
get.
had.
Y'all
It's
gonna
this
fun.
get so far.
it's like
Y'all gonna
scripted
get but so far.
WWE wrestling here. Like this is something.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you got Ben Simmons out here. I'm not gonna say what I want to say. All I'm gonna
See,
say
I'm gonna have to hit this button.
I'm
Man.
not gonna say what I was gonna say, Chris. I'm not
Look
gonna do
look
that.
at
All I'm
look
gonna say is
he was waiting for it.
Ben Simmons. I don't want you out here acting like you hurt for 5 months. I want to see you back on that floor, Ben.
Jasmine
The
is with us.
obsession is
Harper
real.
XX writes. You can follow her there as well, writing for the Dallas Wings, covering the Wings for Winsider. Jasmine, it's been an entertaining first hour. Question to you: in your mind, who is the better team, the Nets or the Sixers? What game do you want to talk about, if any, or what do you want to add here to this wonderful morning?
I just came here because it's some nasty rhetoric being spread in the spaces right now. Y'all are shot out. Whoever, what's his name? Sunday is for basketball. You're not gonna do too much on Malika Walker. Y'all are 12-9. The Brooklyn Nets are 11-11. What the hell is the difference? Like, let's be for real. Like, y'all not finna sit up here and act like the 76ers are just so much better because Doc Rivers is doing his freaking job. That's what he is paid to do, to make your team win when your best players are not on the court. And it's crazy that they're winning when their best players are not on the court. That's the problem. And Chris, I did have coffee this morning. I feel lovely, but I'm just here to say not too much on Malika. The Nets and the 76ers are the same. Basically, on paper, the 76ers are supposed to be better, but they're not even playing at the level that they need to be playing at, with or without James Harden. So let's just kill it. And Doc Rivers is a great regular season coach. He is not a greatest coach. He is not the greatest coach. And he's not going to crack the top 10 as the greatest coach ever. I don't care.
He's already
Jasmine, we
cracked the
got
Give
three
it
top
to
wins
her,
in a row,
15.
Round of
Jasmine.
applause.
Three
What
wins
are
in a
we
row,
doing?
Who
Jasmine.
wants the smoke?
That's
Thank you,
Because
nasty.
Jasmine.
I'm not
Thank
understanding.
you, Jasmine.
Because y'all sound
That is
crazy this
nasty.
morning. I don't know what y'all been drinking.
Jasmine, we
Uh,
got 3 wins in a row, Jasmine. We're a top five seed in the East. Come on now,
well,
Jasmine. Don't do that.
Oh
that's
my
that's
gosh,
him.
congratulations. That is such a big
He's
accomplishment.
hyped. He's hyped. I'm over here drinking Gator Light and water. I'm the cool and responsible one here. I am saying we've won these games without our stars because of the great coaching of Doc Rivers. Right? Like that's all it was great coaching. He did his job. You're
Good
absolutely right.
job.
He did his job great. There's days you do your job okay. There's days you do your job good, but sometimes there are days when you do your job great. And he's done
And
his
the
job
days
great.
that you're doing
Malika
your
and
job the
Joe.
greatest,
Malika
your
and Joe, you
stats
better
don't
pray Doc
reflect.
Rivers wants to come to Brooklyn. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Are you guys kidding me?
stop it, John.
Yeah,
Uh,
can you
We
keep
can we
keep it
can
with
move
girly
on
things?
to another. We can move on to another
um,
to another
As
let me
game.
as
let me get Jay in real quick too. Jay's had his hand up. He's like, I'm keeping the decorum. I'm respecting the process. I thank you, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I just want to let the room know that on paper, James Harden for Mason Plumlee, Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, Jalen McDaniels, and JT Thor trade, it works. Because I want to
You are
see y'all
nasty.
be a better. I want to see y'all be a better team. And when you're not paying Rick Ross with a hezzy, y'all are a really good team. You're 8-4.
Oh
Wait,
my
what was that
gosh.
trade he said? What was that trade?
Damn, Jay.
For
I'm not even that bad with James Harden.
I
everybody in
like it.
Charlotte. Yeah,
Yeah, Mason
everybody in
Plumlee,
Charlotte
Kelly
that we
Oubre, PJ Washington, Jalen McDaniels, and JT Thor.
yeah, like Charlotte would pull the trigger on that trade.
I,
You just
I,
want
I don't want
chaos.
I don't want Lamelo being on the same backcourt as James Harden.
It would never happen. Let me get some shout outs down below. There's some content creators want to make sure we get some shout outs so you can add them to the back of your mind and check them out. Next Kingdom AJ is in the building. Should head over to YouTube sometime and check out their live chats that they have. You'll find him You'll find Saint. You'll find Brandon, Jay from BK. They do a great job talking all things Nets. We have Evan Townsend of Project Spurs, second year covering the NBA draft. Make sure you lock in. He's going to be getting to work as college basketball is in full swing. We have K. Lou in the building. You know him. He's been up here before with Daniel Artest, covering women's hoops as well. For Heavy Handle Hoops is actually what his company is. He's the co-host of one of the better WNBA podcasts that's actually in circulation. And you can check it out at the 9450. It's the podcast. Let's see who else is down below. I see Nightingale here. Warren, Jess, it's good to see y'all. Elon, Santa Rosa, Toronto Raptors is coming up next, so I know y'all are going to be happy because Pascal Siakam has returned, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you, I am becoming very, very pro Pascal Siakam and the idea of his MVP candidacy. The Toronto Raptors just look like a completely different team when he's healthy, and a lot of it has to do with how he's developed his game from all the way back in New Mexico State. I mean, I remember watching him on ESPN2, and the way college basketball works is they have to pick a player in broadcasting. They have to pick a player to focus on, and just so happened he was the player that they picked because New Mexico State is not a basketball powerhouse, and they told his story, how he came over, and then they started saying like he had draft buzz for the second round. And like I couldn't believe it, to be honest, because like I'm looking at a kid that I thought at the time that I was just going to go ahead and I could take. But just looking at his development, like all you can do is say that is absolutely 100% the character and path that I wish every player would take or emulate, because he has done nothing but taken time upon himself to improve his game. So he's returning from an abductor groin issue. He was supposed to be on a minutes restriction last night. He played 30 minutes. He had 18 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, and there was just a better flow to the offense. I want to shout out Bo Cruz getting the start, 20 minutes, 5 points. OG and Anubi, 20 points. Fred Van Vliet, 13. Thaddeus Young, the ageless wonder, 10 points and 7 boards. That was your starting lineup. The Cavaliers were without Jared Allen. They started Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. It was a hell of a night for Donovan Mitchell's 25 minutes. He just could not get any breathing room. Darius Garland finished with a decent score of a box score of 18 and 10 with 3 steals. He limited his turnovers. But Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade just shot themselves out the building. Combined 4 for 21, 10 points. Evan Mobley, 18 and 15 in the loss. His brother got some action, so shout out to him. He had 7 minutes. If you want to go ahead and come on up to talk some Raptors and join Jess, one of the best Toronto Raptors fans I've ever met here on these mean Twitter streets, go ahead and raise those hands. We will go ahead and go to Jess so she can go ahead and give her piece about Pascal Siakam. Jess, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, HoopSpaces. All is right with the world right now, north side of the border, because the MVP caliber, all NBA caliber guy is back. And, it's kind of nasty out there in these streets because all it took was about 2 weeks for all of y'all to forget that Pascal Siakam is him. He's him, and I saw the MVP, the Kia MVP, the ladders and the projections and all the ESPN analysts, they were finally giving him his credit. He was in the conversations, rightfully so. And then he goes down because, the employees in Dallas refused to do their job and wipe down their floors. Shout out to Mark Cuban. And all it takes is a couple of days for all of you guys to forget that Pascal Siakam is special. And, I'm happy this morning because he comes back last night. We cooked the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he looks like himself. He looks like he didn't miss a beat at all. And, Chris, you're absolutely right. This team is clearly designed around him. Even as a Raptors fan, you kind of take it for credit. You take it for granted what he can do. And we kind of saw the offensive struggles when he was away. But this team, when he's on the floor, it's very different. It's scary hours. We have an all NBA guy. We have the defensive player of the year on the floor in OG Anunoby, because how do you go from, if you're Donovan Mitchell, 32 points, I think, the night before, and then you walk into Jurassic Park and you can't put up double digits? Shout out to OG Anunoby. And you know what? What's interesting about last night is that wasn't even a good Fred game. Fred is still kind of sick. He is clearly not himself. He shot like 5 for 16, and we still cooked them. So, yeah, guys, when you face the Raptors, you're going to want to bring your best, because we're going to be one of the hardest teams to beat in the NBA with Pascal on the floor. And I'll just land right there.
So are they a better team than the Nets and the Sixers?
I think we definitely have better coaching. We have a better system. And if you're sleeping against us, yes. Can we steal a series from y'all when the playoffs start? Don't be surprised.
No.
Don't say it, John.
John,
Don't say
see,
it.
why are you trying to start stuff, John? Like we had just moved and transitioned peacefully to some
You really want to
Raptors
have the
talk.
coaching conversation? Malika, I love you, but Jack Vaughn against Nick Nurse, let's not. Come on, man. Don't make me laugh up here this morning. Let's not do that.
I'm
Let's
just,
not do
I'm just
that.
helping Jess.
Malika, come on now. Malika,
I'm just
come on now.
helping Jess elevate the propaganda
I
here.
agree with you there.
They're going to make me real petty this morning. I just came here to heap flowers on my guys, and now they're making me be honest.
I respect Nick Nurse.
Nobody's trying to make anybody do anything other than talk basketball. Like that's what I'm
What's really
trying.
nasty is Siakam only had 18 points and you did all that. You had a whole soliloquy for 18 points.
We had a whole soliloquy for him coming back looking like himself. Did you not see? Like, they had no answer for him, and he only had that 18 points because, funny enough, that 30-minute restriction on him doesn't sound like one, but that is actually a Nick Nurse minute restriction, because he's usually closer to 39. So y'all are lucky that you only got 18 and 11 from the guy with 5 assists. Come on, don't do that. We got 2 guys on our team that can walk into triple doubles.
I just wanted to hear what
Scotty and Pascal can walk.
I've been waiting.
Yeah. Don't do it. She's gonna end up getting some backup, and then you're gonna be out here on your own.
Yeah, come on, don't
worry. I got you. I'll be some backup. Great. Just have a question.
Oh, please! You're a Celtics fan.
I know.
What type of backup is that gonna be? Like, we're 16-4. We don't need to worry about your petty squabbles.
Listen. The thing I like Raptors fans and I don't like Raptors fans, because like there's this tweet I saw. I think it was on April. Pascal Siakam went off right against the Celtics, and then, but it was the game when it was a really close game against the Celtics G League roster, when we rested all of our players to prepare for the playoffs. And then the next day, ESPN put out an article: Is Pascal Siakam an MVP caliber player? Like, you dropped 43 against the G League roster. Like, come on now. That's the thing I don't like about Raptors fans. But Raptors fans, for the most part, are cool. I don't want any
Twitter beef
going on in this room, So let's move on. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got.
Bakari, man, like you got some years to learn how to be more nuanced in some of your point making. Like I can actually hear the knife sharpening as just he was getting ready to flambe you and serve you some roasted asparagus with blue cheese, which sounds absolutely
I'm a
delicious.
Jamaican who lives in Toronto. It was about to be some jerk chicken. Chris, because if you're gonna tell me on this good morning that Pascal Siakam is not one of the better point forwards in the entire NBA, then fix your glasses. Get that eyesight check. Are you watching the game?
Let me get Jay the Wakandan in here. Jay, go ahead.
I think the Raptors are a really good team. And I know the Cavs are shorthanded, but when I watched the game, I really felt like either Bickerstaff got out coached or Donovan got into an ego thing, because what you would think the Cavs would try to do is to run some 3-man weave against that 2-3 zone that they like to play, so that Donovan is going downhill against Fred VanVleet. And that's not what happened. He, like Jess kept saying, he kept trying to take OG, and he just didn't win. And that, and Okoro and Wade and C.D. Osman not hitting, their catch and shoot threes obviously hurts. but I thought Donovan could have been a lot more efficient in attacking. Now, did he have any turnovers? No, but he also only had 2 assists, and some of that was, like I said, because the people he was throwing the ball to weren't knocking down shots. But um, the Cavs definitely had a height advantage, especially when they were playing that Robin Lopez Mobley front court for a little while. Robin just can't slide his feet defensively the way Jared Allen can, so the Raptors were taking advantage of floating his man to the corner. Um,
Yeah,
but
Robin getting longer tooth, man.
yeah. So what the Raptors are doing is that, oh, we're just gonna make Robin rotate to the corner, and
They were
Yeah,
picking
it
on him,
was kind of
bro.
nasty. It was kind of
yeah,
They were
nasty.
picking on
yeah,
him.
yeah. But Bickerstaff, and they were trying to throw it to and Robin and Evan had a little like a 2-man game going. Um, but I would have liked to have seen Bickerstaff, say, hey, Donovan, listen, we're going to do this and stop attacking OG. We need you to attack Fred. Um, and that just kind of just never materialized.
Well, that's
Um,
because we were gonna blow up any action that Bickerstaff was gonna try to play, right? Like Jay, let me help you right here. Let me help you because beyond an ego thing, let's have a conversation here, right? Because let's talk about the last 5 games for OG Anunoby, the players that were on him, and how that game went, right? So Donovan went 2 for 7. The game before, Luka Doncic went 5 for 12. Kevin Durant went 2 for 6. DeJounte Murray shot 20%, 1 for 5. And the last time OG and Jimmy Butler did battle, Jimmy lost the battle in Jurassic Park, went 1 for 4. So I'm just gonna let's have a conversation about the defensive excellence of the Raptors, right? Because I'll be honest, that switch to Fred might not go the way that you want because Fred is one of the better defensive guards in the NBA. If you switch to Pascal, it's not going to go your way because Pascal is a great 2-way defender as well. He can get into you. He can be disruptive. Gary Trent is still one of the better defensive players right now. And it's just not going to go your way. Scotty Barnes also has the size and the length, and you're just not gonna win any battle here. So it seems to me like no matter what happened, we're just gonna be the better defensive team. There's no
Gary
way. There's
Trent
no way
playing
around it.
defense is a joke beyond means, but I'll
I
let
mean,
you have
he
it.
led the league in steals and deflections last season, so I don't know if that's that funny of a joke to me.
Yeah, Gary Trent is not that guy. I think that Toronto Raptors, I honestly feel like they're a great team altogether cohesively. They're well coached. They have really good pieces. But let's not get beside ourselves. I honestly feel like Miami's day has come and gone. So the Jimmy Butler and so forth doesn't really matter. Excuse me, I have a mask on. I'm at the airport, but just wanted to get this off real quick. I don't think people understand that we've literally seen who Donovan is. Let's not forget. He did the same thing in Utah. He's an undersized guard at the end of the day. He's great offensively. He's a one-trick pony, though. When the game slows down and he goes against taller defense, he's always going to have a problem. And this is why I was never a really big fan of this Cleveland trade, bringing Donovan to town. They should have rode it out another year and kept Laurie down low. I think that they had a formula working with the 3 7-footers, and people weren't healthy that year, and that's the only reason why they had a problem. When the game slows down and you have to you switch on the taller guards, you go against the, Lonzos when they're healthy, the LaMelos, they're 6'4" and above. You're gonna have issues when you're 6'1". Darius Garland doesn't play too well of defense either. They're gonna have issues in that backcourt. I do give credit to the Toronto Raptors. They're a well-coached, even team, but I mean, they're not great. Like they're gonna ride the wave because they're Toronto and they're well coached, but they're not winning anything. They're just gonna make it hard for certain teams. But I wouldn't panic just yet. Cleveland can make some adjustments, but Donovan's gonna be Donovan. He's gonna make terrible choices in shots. He's not gonna pass too often. We've seen this in Utah time and time again. He always blunders when the game is crucial and he goes against good defense. It's just Donovan.
Well,
But
I don't
wouldn't
think.
that mean wouldn't having Garland be able to offset that kind of an issue?
Well, I don't think. I think
No.
the problem was more Okoro, Dean Wade's, CD, and Levert going like a combined 30%.
Right, right. And I also just want to push back on that point, Andrew, because I feel like Donovan has been having an outer body experience this season. Like Garland goes down, and Donovan Mitchell carries the Cleveland Cavaliers very far. He looks very good. It seemed like some of those deficiencies he's been able to address. And I think what you're struggling with is the fact that he walks into Jurassic Park, and for some reason it just doesn't go the way he wants it to go. People always want to struggle with giving the Raptors their credit, giving the Raptors their flowers, and that's fine. I understand it. I'm Canadian. That's fine. We move. But I think you're
No,
wrong
they're
in that
good.
regard. Donovan Mitchell has been looking very special for you guys, and OG just shut him down. And it's okay. You can say it. You can say it. You can admit
Oh,
it. It's fine.
I'm
It's
not
a
a
safe space.
Donovan
It's a safe
fan.
space.
I'm not a Donovan or Utah fan. I just call it like I see it.
But then
He's
you should
having
be
he's
seeing
Done
those
this
having a
year.
wins.
career year.
He's done this.
Yeah, he's
No, no,
been
no. He's
looking
done this year
special.
and year again, though,
Not
Chris.
like
He's been
this.
that guy when Mike Conley goes out, the offense runs through him. But every time he goes against somebody that plays adequate or greater than good defense, he struggles because he's undersized. He doesn't know how to pass well enough. I think that he struggles.
I
He's
I
just a scorer.
I think that can happen, but like he had a great game against Milwaukee in a loss. Portland had him in a vice, and
Yeah,
he
this
still had
is
a good
different.
game.
Going two
He
for
had he
seven
had
is different.
Dejounte Murray on him, and he put
Everybody
up.
has a bad game.
Well, like yeah, everybody has a bad game, but like he's having these good games, making other people have bad games consistently. Like that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I'm one of the number that I've seen him in the postseason countless times, and I see how this goes. You have players that have a really good season when it's a different team for 82 games, and then as soon as you see somebody with some adequate defense, Donovan doesn't make the right choices. I don't care. I've watched this from my vantage point for years. Like he just doesn't. When the game is on the line, he doesn't make the right decision. He wants to take control of the game himself when you have a team that can help you. You know what I'm saying? Like Cleveland is stacked with offense, okay? You
Well,
don't have to sit
not
there
in
and do
this
everything
game.
yourself.
Not in this game. Like this game, they were
If the
definitely
ball
not
moves, you
stacked.
can always if the ball moves, no matter how good the defense is, the ball is going to move faster. I'm just going to leave it there.
Oh yeah, no, the ball moved and it moved off the rim, like to 18.4% from deep. Like that was.
And that goes to my point, Chris. I think that they just had a bad game. I think Toronto's good, but it sounds like we're trying to make them sound like, a dynasty. Like we
Oh,
need
I'm
to
not trying to
relax a
say that
little
they're
bit.
a dynasty. I
No,
just.
no, no, definitely not a dynasty, but we are like a top three defense in the NBA. People are just gonna have to grin and bear it. Like we're
Chris,
a
can I
top
say
three
something,
defensive
bro?
team.
What you got, Scotty?
I'm sorry, man. I'm here laying in bed, not really feeling the best, kind of trying to sleep. Just listening to y'all talk about the Raptors, and it's just like it's crazy to me that like whenever they do well, it's like it's their coaching. They got good coaching, bro. You got an All NBA player in Pascal Siakam. You got an All Defense player in OG Anunoby. You got one of the best guards in Fred VanVleet. You've got all the players surrounding them, and you're gonna give the credit to the coach. Stop this. Stop the nonsense. Like, Pascal was cooking these niggas regardless. OG Anunoby locks up your favorite player each night. It doesn't matter. It's not the team defense. It's not like they're quadruple teaming him. They're going one-on-one with him and saying, "Yo, OG, hold this man down." And he's been doing this for years. He used to do this against James Harden. If you look up the numbers, James Harden has had his worst shooting nights against OG Anunoby since his rookie year. Yeah, keep laughing. Keep laughing. Look up the numbers. I'm not even lying to you.
Yeah, Keenan, I literally read them OG's week. Like they don't want it. They just don't want to accept it, bro.
Like, what are we doing right now? Like, yo, watch Pascal play. The spinny move, layup, pump fake, blah blah blah. Those days are behind him. He's pulling up in the mid range. He's looking like KD. I'm not even
Pascal's
lying.
not
He ain't
even a
even
guy on his own
like,
team.
what are we doing? What do you mean
Oh,
Pascal's not
hey,
even a guy on the team?
hold
He's
up.
not even that guy.
Hold up.
What?
Oh,
We
see now,
definitely.
see, Chris, I want to
Wait,
respect the
wait.
platform, Chris.
No,
Chris,
it's
you
I
can't
just
say
got to
that now.
stop with the he's KD.
No, I said he looking like KD from the mid range with some of the shots he be hitting. Aesthetically, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He not KD.
Woo! Let me get J and JF in here so they can rile you all up more, and then we're gonna move on to some Thunder Pelicans. We got some Celtics talk coming up too because they
But
look
last word,
inevitable.
last word. Some of us are casuals, and it's okay. And also, the Boston Celtics have the 23rd worst strength of schedule right now. So keep hyping them up.
You can only play who you play.
Who controls the schedule? That's my question.
You can
Mr.
only
Adam
play
Silver,
who you play.
All
and the
right,
Celtics being
then
good is
then
good
move
for
on. Let's
basketball.
move on then. Move
I'm
on.
just waiting for the
JFK.
Lakers Pacers game. I'm waiting for that one in particular.
Oh, we'll get there. JFK, go ahead.
Oh, you know I'm about to go stupid, Malika. Don't trip.
Oh yeah, what's up, Chris? You want to get the buzzer? Buzzer.
You like I said your name. 3 seconds went by, and like you
I
got
had
the buzzer.
decorum. I was waiting for everybody to finish off their final statements before I spoke. But listen,
All right,
Chris, I don't know where our
yo,
friends from up north. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Well, then that's good. So there's
All right,
two of us
I took it
hearing
off
you.
my headphones, guys. I guess my headphones bugged. But all
There
right,
you go. Look at that.
all right. So that's why you gave me the damn bell, Chris. But listen, I'm not sure what's wrong with my friends up north, but I'm pretty sure I can kind of guess it. Their soccer team got clean sweeped out the World Cup, so that may be to why they're trying to slander everybody like Jimmy Butler's not a playoff guy. I mean, come on, let's put respect where the respect is due. I'm tired of hearing this regular season, but when it comes down to it in the playoffs, Jimmy Butler he's going to do what he got to do. I don't want to hear nothing about it. That's why I'm not worried for him missing any time. Look, Bam is evolving right before our eyes. As much as people love to hate to see it, I mean, like he's doing what he's got to do, but with our friends in Toronto, look, you have a good team. I'll say that. Scotty Barnes, West Palm guy, he's the reason. He's one of the main reasons why your things are happening. You get what I'm saying? He's giving you that average of 6'9" guards and whatnot. But to be realistic, they're going to be a tough team going into the playoffs. I just don't want to put all the eggs in one basket with them just because there's a lot of questions behind certain things. And it's just probably just to see how they fare against healthier teams, see how they fare against a 7-game series, just the regular playoff stuff. Just want to see them do it without Kawhi real quick. But, Chris, I think the biggest issue right now is still lingering on from the weekend is do the Hawks really have a good team, or is this all a mirage that we're looking at right now, Chris? Like, God dang, if I had two superstars or whatever they call them on my team, I'm pretty sure I'll be a lot further ahead with our record. But between Brooklyn Nets and 76ers, uh, Chris, you're going to make me choose between a ham sandwich and mashed potatoes. This ain't cool, bruh. But I'll have to go ahead and say the 76ers. Doc Rivers is a great coach. We saw what Ben Simmons tried to do to his career in Philly. So I'm glad. I had to get my Ben Simmons slander off. I'm sorry, Chris. But I'm glad that the Sixers are doing what they got to do. I'm glad they kept the streak alive with the Hawks and losing. So shouts out to y'all boys. That's it, Chris.
Man, I love how the Hawks are getting roasted without getting roasted. Like I purposely have not talked Hawks because like I feel so bad because I tried to tell them about Nate McMillan.
Well, the propaganda is not here, though, right?
Well, no, he
Where's your
was
boy
on
Alex, Chris?
he was on
Chris, where's
last
Hawks
night.
fan?
He
Where's
did he
Hawks
did
fan
he
television?
does
Huh?
he
We're supposed
does
to
he
be. What's
does
going
he
on?
does pregame and postgame too. Like he was
What
there.
happened to Hawks fan TV and all of his slander?
He's around.
What happened to Trey being the best player on the planet? What happened to no team being relevant unless they're in Atlanta? What happened to Atlanta being the best team to ever be a
Jay the
team?
Jay the McCown hop in
What
here
had
on this
happened?
Raptors talk.
No, like I was saying, the Raptors are a good team, but I just wanted to push back on the Donovan Mitchell take because in Cleveland, he's having a career year, and it's not just like shooting splits; it's the effect of winning. Like his win shares is the highest it's ever been. His his win shares per 48. I mean, you need the whole season to accumulate win shares, but um, and his usage rate is the same on paper, but when you watch the games, he's taking less high stress shots. There are times in the game where he can give the ball to Darius Garland and Darius Garland can kind of run the show, and Donovan can kind of do his thing off ball. He trusts Evan Mobley on offense way more than he ever trusts Rudy Gobert. He looks for Jared
As
Allen
he
on,
should.
and he looks for Jared Allen on lobs way more than he ever looked for Rudy Gobert. And so Donovan is having a career
Can we just
year.
call Rudy trash? Oh my gosh, please.
See, here's the thing about Rudy, and I know I'm probably the last person on Rudy Island.
Oh yeah, no, you say, yeah, like let's hear it because you
No,
probably
I'm
are the
with you,
last
Jay. I
person.
think I know
Please
where you're
don't
about
make
to
any
go, and I'm with you. You're
excuses.
not on the island, man.
No, 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 no.
Rudy Gobert is not trash. Rudy Gobert is not
Here's the
trash.
thing. Because of the way the game has gone, less and less people know how to make a post entry pass. And there are Rudy is open. Let's not get that twisted. A lot of times Rudy is open. If he's not open laterally, he's definitely open vertically. And they just don't get him the ball. There, if you watch the Wizards Timberwolves series, Kristaps Porzingis is the only dude on the floor that can remotely dream of challenging Rudy vertically. So you would think the offense would be, we're gonna run pick and roll, we're gonna get downhill, we're gonna throw the lob. That has never been the offense Rudy has got in. And for a big man, he shoots pretty good free throw percentages. And so
This
if
this Rudy Gobert defense is nasty, bro. I'm not gonna
Very
lie.
nice. Because we
It's
were trashing
complete
Rudy
trash,
Gobert like a
dude.
But he's
couple
Like
not
we
weeks
act
wrong
like
ago.
we
though.
haven't
all
seen
right,
Rudy
Um,
Yeah,
all right,
trash.
I'm not hearing
Chris,
any lies, man. Like
Chris,
he's
can
I
I
don't
still
get
think
an
he's
can I
wrong.
get a
elite
co-host?
defender. Like
Can I
if
get a
you're at the
co-host,
rim,
Chris?
he's gonna meet you
Hey,
there.
hey,
He's gonna give you
Elite
like
defender.
17 and
let Jay
15
finish.
minutes. Like,
Let
come on,
Jay
man.
finish. He let him finish. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead and finish.
Y'all wildin'.
So, all right, let's do another player. Is John Collins trash?
Yes.
Wow.
No, I think that Rudy and John Collins are very similar, but they're
John
system
Collins is complete
players.
garbage.
They're
What?
they're one trick
Oh,
Rudy
ponies,
is
dude.
he is leaps
Chris,
and
can I get a
bounds.
co
oh man, I'm getting a headache. Ay ay ay. All right, so John Collins and Rudy Gobert. Definitely not the same player in my book. I think John Collins runs into a problem in Atlanta, and the problem is DeAndre Hunter. They play the same position in the offense, and John Collins wants a better position in the offense. But because where they actually position themselves on the wing, DeAndre gets the deferment of the passes. And I think John Collins just wants more shots. Rudy Gobert, um, is a phenomenal post defender, phenomenal rebounder. He can literally keep you in the game. He is a floor raiser. He is not a ceiling attainer. Like he ain't going to be lifting you up to the rafters. But what he does is he makes it easier for you to get in the position to get to the rafters, right? And I think a lot of people misconstrued that, and they want him to be, a dominant player on both sides of the ball because he makes $38 million, right? If you take the contract away, what you find is a top 40 efficient player, a top 3 rebounder, a top 5 defender, and he's still giving you double doubles, double digit points, right? It's just
So that's Hall of
ugly.
Fame stuff, right, Chris?
And the
Hall
thing
of
Yeah,
is,
Fame
yeah.
stuff.
Yes, Rudy Gobert will be in the Hall of Fame, even if he does not win a championship.
Yeah,
and
like
the
I
other,
don't understand why people hate him so much. Like, how did
and
we
the other
lose the
thing is,
narrative that he's one of the most elite rim protectors in the modern game? Like, I
and
get he's
here,
not the most
Did you
likable
not just
guy,
say
but
he was
he's
trash though?
very good at what he does.
Well, I didn't
no,
say
but
he was
here's,
The
trash. I was
I
saying
didn't
the
consensus
say,
before
defense
the
is
I didn't
trash.
say he's
conversation was that
trash.
he was trash, and then
Double back.
Jay the Wakanda came in to give him like a little bump, and now everybody's saying he's good. But the conversation
Well, no,
started off with everybody saying he was
I
trash.
have him. I have him on two of my fantasy teams. I don't think he's trash. I think aesthetically he doesn't fit the modern game, and I think a lot of the negativity is on what he makes versus what he produces. My issue is the way Jay is defending him. I just think it's just awful. He's I would defend him in a completely different way. That's just me. That's what I was saying. Awful, not Rudy Gobert. I was just saying the argument is just nasty,
No,
nasty.
you you can't score if the ball don't touch your hands. Rudy Gobert averages double digit points getting it off the glass. Like I don't understand why this is not understood
Like,
We understand you. The people who understand, though, Jay, you're speaking correctly.
Yeah, like I don't hear a lie. Like if we did a drinking game every time Rudy met a guard at the top of the key, rolled, and then just had his hands up in the middle of the paint with no one next to him, like
that would
Well,
there'd be a
at
never
lot of
seven
work.
shots.
foot,
There'd be a lot of shots.
We
at
He's
seven
die.
always
foot, that's
open. His
supposed
We
to
arms are
would
happen.
always
die.
flailing. He's on an island by himself in the middle of the paint, and no one ever finds him. Jay is not wrong.
All right, next game. After I hit this button. All right, we are brought to you today, once again, by our sponsors, Slam Goods, over at slamgoods.com. That's the website that you can go to so you can see what they have. And when you go to that website, you'll see apparel, you'll see collectibles, you'll see print editions of Slam Magazine. And if you are of a certain age, you've probably never read a magazine. And, like, that actually makes me very sad. And to help counteract my sadness, you should go over there and purchase an actual copy of Slam Magazine, right? You can use promo code HoopSpaces, and then you will actually get the tactile feel of basketball fandom in your hands, delivered to your house. Save 15% using promo code HoopSpaces, and check out the Funko Pops. They have an entire new lineup, all for pre-order, all $20. Use promo code HoopSpaces and start your collection. If you've looked at what some of these Funko Pops have gone for, the Tim Duncans are like insanely expensive. Like the original one came out, one just sold like for over $2,000. It's crazy. So for $20, express your fandom. Pick up like the Ray Allen Seattle SuperSonics one. Maybe if you go to a game, you bump into him and he signs it and it's worth something. I don't know. Can always hope. We are also powered on YouTube by Audio Labs, and I want to give a big shout out and round of applause to JP, the franchise. JP is aboard here on HoopSpaces as our YouTube coordinator. He has already got Sundays is for Basketball coming up pretty soon. The Rewind Pod will be up there as well, I believe. And if you are a content creator and you have content that you want more eyes on, we are here for you. All you have to do is reach out to Justin Patton, and then we can work something out as we try to continue to build a better basketball community. All right. Good read. Up next, New Orleans Pelicans, Oklahoma City Thunder do battle. And as much as we want to say SGA is good, are the Thunder really? Because I don't get it. If SGA is supposedly this good, why are we not seeing this translate into team success? Last night, 105-101, your final in the Smoothie King Center. 31 points, 4 assists, but 7 turnovers for SGA, who went 16 for 18 from the line, shot 33% from the floor. Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Alexei Pukashevsky combined for 21. Lou Dort with 14. That was your starting lineup. Josh Giddey, 7 points, pretty ineffective night. New Orleans played Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Jonas Valanciunas, Jose Alvarado, who was in for CJ McCollum, and Trey Murphy III. Shout out to Zion Williamson, his 100th game. Nets him in rare air as only Michael Jordan has scored more and done more and blah, 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 even though it took Zion 3 seasons to get there. Trey Murphy is going to be the X factor for the New Orleans Pelicans come playoff time. I think he is making an argument to start right next to Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, replacing Herb Jones. 7 for 13, 20 points, 6 boards. And I'm telling you now, if you have not watched him play, please go watch it. It is a combination of Rashard Lewis meets maybe Baby McGrady, right? Like, it is a phenomenal game. There you go, 105-101. I think SGA gets into the All-Star game, but I don't think he's voted in. I think he gets in as a coach add-on, right? I just, like, who's he going to replace in the West? If the Thunder don't pump up to a 500, record, is he going to get De'Aaron Fox's spot, who has the Kings above 500, looking real as a legit playoff contender and seed in the Western Conference? Is he going to get it above Steph? Like, I don't see that happening, right? Does anybody see that happening? I don't. Does he get over Booker? I don't think he gets over Booker. And there you go. There's three. So if he isn't getting over those three, where does he sit in the idea in your eyes for the All Star game? We will go to JFK first, and we'll go to Jay the Wakandan. We have Jasmine, Andrea, Jess up here with Vakari, Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod, and John with me. And if you want to come up, just raise your hand. We'll get you up here. Don't worry. JF, floor is yours.
Yeah, Chris, you're doing a great job of avoiding the thing that everybody wants is we want to talk about the Hawks, but we can talk about the Thunder real quick. I think SGA makes it in. He should be able to replace Andrew Wiggins easily last year. That's easy. I don't know why you're talking about Steph. Andrew Wiggins got voted in, right? So I think that if NBA Twitter and HoopSpaces and Chris leads the way, SGA should be able to get voted in to the All-Star break. So let's bring smart basketball back, Chris. So I'm leaning my all on you, Chris.
Oh, geez, I don't have a vote, but I appreciate it. I often wonder what it would be like if I were to ever get a vote.
Stop
for
lying,
anything.
Chris.
What? I'm not.
Chris, you got to vote for being the Midwestern recruit and analyzed recruiter for the Sacramento Kings. So we'll go ahead and use that vote.
One, scouts don't get votes like that. Not saying I'm a scout, just saying that I know they don't get votes like that.
So you admit it. So you, you caught him.
Did you not just hear me say I do not know? I just said it. Like, what are you doing?
He's a scout for the Kings.
No, I have never worked for, nor do I work for the Sacramento Kings. I simply know some scouts, and I am telling you that scouts don't get votes like that. Like, why would you give a scout a vote? That would be really weird.
I also think Canada might be able to get the job done for SGA. JF, don't worry. Shay's going to get to the dance. Don't worry.
Well, you think so? Because, we were wondering if Canada was going to show up for RJ Barrett.
Yeah, but right now, the two Canadians that we acknowledge are Jamal Murray and Shea. Those are the two that, if there's going to be a homecoming, we would like to see one of those two interact with this.
Oh, that hurts.
We don't know what Dwight Powell. We don't know, what I'm saying, what's going on with RJ. Hopefully he can stop bricking shots in New York. That's fine. But right now, we acknowledge Jamal, and we acknowledge one Shea Gilgeous.
Jess, you're not acknowledging Mathurin?
I mean, you know what? The Pacers are actually mad Canadian right now. It's pretty funny. Benedict Mathurin, he's scoring a lot. He's doing a lot right now in Indiana for sure. But I'm just saying,
Jess, you can't forget Aurora Sinus, who hit a game winner against Los Angeles.
Again, Mathurin is.
That wasn't Mathurin. That was Nemhard.
Nemhard. Sorry, Nemhard is going crazy as well. The Pacers really are quite Canadian. It's really funny.
And you left out Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, no, Canadians don't care about any player that they don't want to see in a Raptors jersey. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the only player that we want to see in a Raptors jersey right now.
And that's really all I'm trying to say for sure.
That's
okay.
it.
Shout out to Maple Jordan though in the Bay for sure.
Thank you to Justin who put the ESPN graphic up here. I get it. I get it, but this kind of irked me. This is misleading. Zion Williamson played his 100th career game tonight, scoring 23 points. His 2,524 total points are the most by a player through 100 career games since Michael Jordan scored 21 points through his first 100 games. I get it. But, isn't it kind of, misleading and disingenuous? Because the player he is this season wasn't the player he was last season, wasn't the player he was last season, and do we think he has this type of game if he played 100 straight games? Does he have this accolade? I don't know. But personally, I don't think so because every rookie struggles in the NBA. Even Michael Jordan struggled, but Chicago didn't have anybody else. And so he was able to get the volume as well. And I think a lot of people don't really see that. And I think what I'm saying is nothing against Zion. I don't appreciate that from journalism. That's what I'm saying. So, because I had somebody, say, what are you saying about Zion? Absolutely nothing. What I'm saying is if he played 100 games in his first, season and a half or season and a quarter, he doesn't get this, at least not in my opinion, because his game is developed and is now way more than just running and dunking. But more importantly, it leaves out the fact that it took him that long to gain the skills he was currently, consistently working on. And like it's just a bad look in my opinion. So your thoughts on that, or your thoughts on the game? We will go first to 6 of the 12 because the victors go to spoils. What's up, 6? How you doing?
Wait, hold on. I wasn't. Wait, I was
What?
supposed to go after the Thunder and JFK.
Hey, Jay can go if he needs to go.
Oh, okay. My bad, Jay.
Good.
Because you asked a question, I wanted to give you an answer.
Oh, okay.
Because
My
we're
fault.
friends.
My fault.
The reason why the Thunder are a bad team is their point guard is their best rebounder, but their point guard also is a horrific free throw shooter and a horrific 3-point shooter in the modern game by the name of Josh Giddey. Do you know how tall they list Pukashevsky?
What? 6'11", 7 foot.
7 foot, but he weighs 190. Do you know how many rebounds he gets a game?
Yeah, he gets about 4.
Yeah, let's round it up to 5. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is listed at 6'9". He plays 20 minutes a game, gets 5 rebounds a game. Next tallest guy, let's say, is Baisley, 6'8", 6'9". He plays 15 minutes a game. He gets 4 rebounds a game. Chris,
That's not fair that's not fair to Jeremiah. Like, I'm actually a fan of Jeremiah. He would get more if he had 30 plus minutes.
I understand. Chris, do you know what team in the league gives up the most offensive rebounds?
The Chicago Bulls.
The OKC Thunder. Do you know what team also gives up top 5 free throw attempts per game?
Definitely the Chicago Bulls.
Definitely OKC. Guess who allows their opponents the most free throws a game, though? This answer is shocking.
The Chicago Bulls.
Golden State Warriors.
Don't get the Warriors started.
I mean, no, fact, numbers are numbers. So the thing is, the reason why the Thunder are such a bad team is because they can't rebound. Because the defense isn't your turn at defense isn't over until you secure the rebound, and they are just horrible, and I do mean horrible at that. And the way they play when they're hot, it makes sense. When it doesn't, they can't stop people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the Thunder are the team that if they're going, it's going to be a up and down game. They're going to be in the 120s. When they're not going, a 4-point lead turns into a 12-point lead quick because they can't get a rebound on the defensive end. And so that's why as mind-numbingly awesome Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's numbers are, it's not translating into winning, is because his teammates can't shoot consistently, and their point guard is their best rebounder, who cannot shoot. And if you're on an NBA team and your rebounder is your best rebounder is your point guard, and he can't shoot, it's a tough night at the office. More times than not.
Jay, that sounds like another Australian.
It does, but we're not here to talk about the Brisbane bricklayer.
Why are we doing this? Why are we backhanding and Ben Simmons again, man? Like, that was the first hour.
I'm sorry, when you're describing a rebounding guard that can't shoot, and, there's certain people that come to mind. But I like Josh Giddey. He's a young kid. He's 18. I think he's the future of the Australian national team. So I mean that'll come. That team needs coaching for sure, with regards to like development skills. That's why they're supposed to be down the line team.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Jeremiah Robinson. Finish up, John.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, finish up.
I go because I think it's really how much this team needs assets and players, and
All they have are assets and players, man. Like, Their whole roster is the roster
The
of
whole roster is
assets and
just basically
players.
asset players.
Yeah.
You just need to figure out which ones
Well, no,
would
they
be
don't.
available.
What Sam Presti and this coaching staff is doing, they are artificially deflating the the value of the players they have. By specifically playing the players the minimum amount of minutes that you would see as a starter or as a contributing player. Like Jeremiah Robinson Earl is averaging 20 minutes per game, but if you look at his 36 splits, like the dude would be better than John Collins. He'd be getting you 16, 9 with 2.5 threes. And like they don't play him. And when they do finally do play him, 30 plus minutes, he usually gets a double double or close to it, but he doesn't get the shots because they chose to build a guard driving perimeter centric offense with Josh Giddey, who Jay's already pointed out can't shoot. SGA, who, let's be honest, like he can drive. He's starting to hit some pull ups, but like he was never known as a Devin Booker esque shooter. And then you've got Lou Dort, who like just kind of runs around and does Dylan Brooks things, but like we like his backstory, so he's cool.
Okay, please don't slander all the Canadians in your take. Like that was way too many Canadians that you just slandered in one breath right there. That's crazy, Chris.
It's not slander if it's true, Jess. That's the problem.
Yeah, man. I mean, because the other thing is the Thunder like to run this 5-out offense, and they also suck at getting to the line. Like, yes, say Gillis averages 9 free throws a game. The next guy is Dort at 3. The next guy is Giddey at 1.6. And remember, he's the point guard. So it's and then not only that, but Lou Dort is shooting 5 threes a game at a Luka like 30.6. Josh Giddey is shooting 3 threes a game at a mind-numbingly Michael Kidd Gilchrist 25.9. It's just bad. Like Trey Mann is shooting 5 threes a game, and he is hitting an Anthony Davis like 28.1.
Which is weird because he's a shooter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like that's the weird part. The other guys aren't shooters. He was drafted to shoot. Yes. And like last year he shot and he shot well. Yeah, and now he's not shooting. And it's because they don't play him regularly.
They don't play him regularly. And I believe that Presti has intimidated these people into not playing well because he wants Victor Wembanyama. Like I want to know how much did it cost the X-ray guy to sell? Yeah, no, sure. Chet's foot is
Stop it. Let's get 6 of the 12 in here to give us some positive talk here because we were getting negative here. And real quick, yes, I understand SGA has a jumper now. I said he had a jumper. I said when he came into the league, it wasn't like he was a Devin Booker-esque shooter. That's what I said. Like I totally respect his J. Love it. 6 of the 12, you guys win. You asked me to put up a tweet specifically. I'm going to let you get to that. But real quick, I want to say, to me, the X factor of the Pelicans' success this season will be the continued development of one Mr. Trey Murphy III, who somehow seemingly has grown another inch from last night to this morning. I just want to throw that out there. 6 of the 12, go ahead, break down this game from your perspective. And we get to look forward to tomorrow as the Pelicans host the Toronto Raptors. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Hey, Chris, good morning. Make sure everybody retweets the show card that's up on the big board. Look, about OKC, they're so young. It's hard to really pinpoint one thing about that team when they're so young. They don't really have a common direction of where they're going and what they're doing. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, is very talented. The way that he can kind of maneuver himself throughout the court, never pick up his dribble. Sometimes it looks like he's kind of moving in like a smooth, slow motion, but he's just gliding past defenders. He's gonna be really, really good. I think like the biggest thing for me, man, watching the Pelicans play, honestly, is look, I get that Zion is 6'6", 6'7", whatever he is, 270 pounds, whatever he is. And his biceps are the same size as, Thanos, and his chest is the same size as a bulldozer. I get it. Um, but as a fan of the Pelicans and as a fan of the NBA, we really haven't seen NBA officials treat a player like they treat Zion since Shaq. Um, the good thing about Zion is that he's a much better free throw shooter than Shaq. So when he gets to the line, he can make his free throws. But as a fan of the Pelicans, it's so hard to watch a game like last night where SGA goes into the lane. He shoots, I think it was 18 or 19 free throws or something like that, something crazy. The Pelicans shot a total of, I think, 16 or 17 free throws, and Zion shoots one free throw, all right, with 44.4 seconds left in the game that he makes. And it's just like, it's getting to the point where it's like you don't want Zion to change the way he plays, right? Because, yes, he's a big like physical freak, but he's very nimble in what he does in the lane. He has a nice English on his touch. He can do things that guys his size really can't do. So you don't want him to change his game, but it's like, what does he have to do to get calls in this league? Because if you look at his numbers, man, I mean, he's scoring 23, 24 points a game just from the paint, and he's not getting the free throw numbers. He put up a little midi yesterday, which was pretty exciting. That he got hit on the arm, didn't get a foul, didn't get the and one. But I think that's just the frustrating thing for us Pelicans fans that we're just like harping on all the time. Is like when we watch games, there's times where, I mean, Zion is a very quiet kind of guy. That's why I said he was going to stay in New Orleans. He wasn't going to New York. He doesn't want the big limelight. He's happy where he's at. But he's even getting like I wouldn't say emotional, but he's getting into the game as well. As where it's like he's like making comments to the officials, like, dude, that's exactly what SGA just had happen on the other side, and you can't give me that call on this side of the court. So that that is a very frustrating thing that us Pelicans fans are going through every time we watch a game. But like you harped on, man, Trey Murphy. Like I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. I mean, you know about it. I told you he grew some inches or whatever. But yes, he is a great shooter. That's getting better and better at shooting. But the thing about last year with Trey Murphy is that what they made him do was if they came up on him to get him off the line, he didn't have a dribble in his bag to dribble off, drive to the lane, dish it. It was almost like the whole drive stopped right there if you dribble, like if you came up on him off the line. And now, in his bag over the summer, he worked on moves to get him into the lane because as you're seeing now, if you watch the Pelicans, he has freakish athletic ability at being around 6'10". And honestly, what's not being talked about enough about Trey Murphy is the way he's playing defense. Um, the defensive strides that he has made over the last year is insane. I mean, he's taken accountability for it. And that's another guy. Like I said, he's 6'10". I mean, like the wingspan, he's making all kind of chaos in the passing lanes. He's getting up over guys. Um, and I just want to mention, man, Jose. Like I think this is his third or fourth game that he started in a row for us. With CJ being out and things like that for COVID illness or whatever it is. Um, and man, like that guy is a fan favorite, and I know there's a lot of people that probably do not like Jose because of what he's probably done or said to one of your teams or things like that. But in New Orleans, man, like we love the guy. He plays with energy every single night. I think Willie Green is finally starting to find his rotation with Jose. They like Jose closing games. And I think that's a great thing. His on ball pressure is impressive. And then last night, like we mentioned, I think it was a week or two ago when Herb Jones, every single game, it's like he has two or three fouls in the first 5 minutes. They kind of officiating him different this year. Or not different, but they're not officiating him like he is a top five, top six elite, perimeter wing defender in the league. And he's getting a lot of ticky tack calls. Well, last night, he didn't have that many fouls on him, and he finished with 4 steals and 3 blocks. So It was a hard game. OKC, they're going to be good if they can figure it out and keep all their pieces or make a few trades with the assets they have along with the draft picks. They're going to be fine. I mean, they're super young. I think maybe their oldest guy is 26 or something. So, they're going to be a good team. But Chris, thank you, man, for the platform as always to speak on. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think it's more they don't like CJ McCollum's defense closing than they like Jose Alvarado closing. Like I think we need to be honest.
No, and I agree, and I also think a lot of the time, sometimes, and this is no disrespect to CJ because I love CJ, but I think a lot of times he forces shots, and then early in the game, that could be okay if we can make up some distance, but late in the game, there is some times where he forces some shots or puts up some shots that are kind of in question early in the shot clock where we don't have guys down there to rebound or things like that, and it kind of forces us into a bad situation on defense. So I mean, I agree. Like I said, I mean, CJ makes a lot of clutch shots for us, but at the same time, there is times where he is a defensive liability. And I think, like I said, I love the Jose, finishing out the game for us.
All right, Jay, keep it 60, and then we got something from Jose that we're gonna talk about real quick, as well as the poll: who wins one-on-one first to 11, Devin Booker or SGA? All right, go ahead,
No,
Jay.
I just wanted to ask Six of the Pels, how has he felt about Dyson Daniels' um, season? Because he's starting to get more minutes. I think he was one of the unsung heroes of this game. And I just wanted to get his thoughts about how he feels about Dyson Daniels' season going so far.
Hey, it's actually really funny you brought that up because that was the one person that I did not, recognize on my platforms of speaking. But that's the one guy that I wanted to mention. It's like I got kind of backtracked when Chris mentioned the big board about the Zion free throw thing. But I heard someone say earlier about how Josh Giddey is going to be the one that's going to be leading the Australian national team. And man, look, I know Josh Giddey's great. He's going to have a great career. He's going to be a great basketball player. But Dyson Daniels was right there on the exact same team. They were roommates for the I forgot what it's called, but they were on the same team in Australia. They grew up together. They played together. Dyson Daniels, man, I absolutely love the fact that Willie is starting to play him more. And last year Herb Jones' first game was against Zach LaVine. He had to guard Zach LaVine 1-on-1 the whole game, and that was his introduction into the NBA. And it's funny because I think this year Dyson Daniels' first minutes was against the Bulls, and he had to guard Zach LaVine 1-on-1. So he is going to be. I mean, he's already. We feel like he is definitely an elite defender, but what gets overlooked is the fact that his playmaking skills. You can play him really 1 through 3. He can even guard down on the 4 at times as well. And then on top of that, man, I mean, like when you got like PJ Tucker and things like that. I'm not saying he's
Dude,
going to be
PJ
elite.
Tucker goes 28 minutes without taking a shot. Like, don't
But you know what I'm
set
saying?
Dyson
Like,
Daniels up for
I'm not
failure.
saying he can.
That
I'm
doesn't
not saying he
make
can
him
play the
lying.
4, but he can switch 1 through 4. He's done it this year. When we played
Oh,
ball and things like that. But I mean, he knocked down 2 or 3 clutch threes last night. He's playing. I mean, he's playing his game. I mean, we like him. I mean, we love him in New Orleans. We're glad that he's finally playing. That Willie's playing him.
all right. Let me get a World Cup update. Looks like Ecuador's done. I believe Senegal just won 2-1, if I'm correct. If
Yes,
that
you
is
are.
the case, Ecuador is gone. We say farewell.
Yeah. And shout out to Jose Alvarado at 5'10", getting 4 rebounds because that was the same amount as the 7-foot Kulisevsky.
Shout out Georgia Tech's Jose Alvarado. Like this is how a little tangent. I remember when Georgia Tech was good at a sport called basketball. Right? They put out players that were good consistently, and then like all of a sudden, I called it the curse of Thaddeus Young. By the way, Dad comes through, and then after that, like nothing until Jose Alvarado. Man, tough times. The mighty have fallen. Jeff, 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, no, I only need 20. I just want to say real quick to Six of the Pels, looking forward to facing you guys, coming up. I was always a Pelicans truther. I thought you guys had a great, great team. But I'll tell you what, if Jose Alvarado tries that sneaky behind the back shit on Fred VanVleet, we going to fight. We going to fight.
Go ahead, Six.
I love when he does it to other teams, though. It's really cool.
All right. Jose, down below, Cool Kolkan or Jose has a question, and this is a question that I do believe deserves some discourse real quick as we take a break from recapping last night. Why is the talk that Luka needs to get his teammates involved not Giannis? And I'm assuming not the same as Giannis. Giannis now holds the highest usage rate in the league. I guess heliocentric conversations are only held to fit narratives. It's an interesting conversation because I don't necessarily think the heliocentricity is what's wrong, as I do think that the roster makeup is wrong. And seeing every Dallas game, I see him try to get his teammates involved, but I just don't see his teammates being very good at the moment, right? Like they have spots where they hit shots, but they don't hit shots consistently. And more importantly, when he moves the ball, it sometimes seems as though he's moving the ball and the team is just going to move the ball back to him. Is that really his fault if every teammate eventually demurs to him because they're not hitting their shots? And I don't think it is. So I'm not on board with the discrediting of Luka's heliocentricity because when you see other teams have some success with it with their top players, such as Giannis, at times Embiid, at times Kevin Durant, at times Paul George when Kawhi is out, at times Pascal Siakam when Fred is out, it works if the team is built for success. And I think that's the problem, is that a lot of people discard the names on the Milwaukee Bucks as just other players who just play and just heap greatness on Giannis, who is great and deserves the heaping of greatness. But we have to give credence that there's more to team building than stats and production, right? There's this hidden language called chemistry, not the chemistry that you have with a loved one, but a chemistry of pieces being able to work together and meld into something productive. It's a little bit more than just a good relationship. It requires multiple good relationships. It requires accountability, earnesty, honesty. And I think what we see when we have this line is what separates the Dallas Mavericks and Luka versus Milwaukee and Giannis. And I think this question kind of sums up the duality of how we view teams and players. And I just want to hear your thoughts. Jay, your hands up. I definitely want to hear Iman. Malika of the Rewind Pod is here. Rewind Pod is here. Just JFK. If you're down below and you want to join the stage like Steven, just go ahead and raise your hand, like and retweet the show card. We'll get you up. Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's a misunderstanding of numbers, and I know I'm an engineer, so this is kind of my nerd alley. Usage rate is not an indicator of heliocentricity, if that's a word. Usage rate is the amount of possessions in a percentage that the player is involved with the shot, the assist, or the turnover, meaning that players with the highest usage rates are the hub or that's the best word for it, the hub of the offense, the hub of the movement, the majority of time. The better stat to track heliocentricity, I don't know how to handle that.
Heliocentricity.
Centricity. Thank you.
Centricity.
That's what I say. Centricity.
Okay.
Heliocentricity. Is you go on NBA.com stats players, and they have a thing where you could track isolations. Luka Doncic leads the league at 8.7 ISO possessions a game. It is 28.3% of his frequency. James Harden is 2 at 7.6. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is 6.3. Now, here's the thing. When you scroll all the way down, Steph Curry's at 2, and Brandon Ingram's at 2.4, and then Ja Morant is at like 2.8, right? But if you were to look at their usage rates, because they are the hubs of their respective teams, they're high. And so the thing is, when you watch Milwaukee Bucks basketball, Giannis isn't bringing the ball up the court 80% of the time. That's Drew Holiday's job. That's the kid out of West Virginia's job. When Chris Middleton
Javon
gets back,
Carter.
Javon Carter. When Chris Middleton gets back, Chris Middleton's going to bring the ball up some. Does Giannis bring the ball up some? Sure. Just as a different look for the defense and to give Drew Holiday a break and Javon Carter a break. So, yes, Giannis's usage rate is high, but what the Bucks are doing, Coach Bud's system is actually antithetical to heliocentric isolation basketball. So it's not that we're being hypocrites; it's that the Bucks don't play heliocentric basketball. Giannis is just the hub of a hybrid motion offense, and Luka is the offense of the Mavs, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's like whereas Steph Curry is force multiplier by being able to spread the floor as well as get secondary assist and primary assist. Luka Doncic gets assist, but like his offensive role is essentially a black hole, right? Like the offense sucks all of the action to Luka, and that is more Jason Kidd's fault. And one thing that Rick Carlisle was able to do was be able to create accountability for Luka to not be the black hole at times. At least that's how I view it. I want to get Amon's thoughts if she's available. Akil has joined us as well. Steven is down below. We'll get him before Akil. Amon, any thoughts on anything we've gone over so far?
I've been in and out. But I did want to come up when you were speaking to the Zion part, which I think that was an incredibly sort of apt point that I think a lot of people miss, because a rookie wall exists, and part of being a rookie, part of playing in the NBA is going from the 30 games or whatever you play in college to playing 82 games in a season. That is a large part of it. It's a reason why we see rookies sometime in January, February start to stagnate, start to crash a little bit, start to have some bad games. If every rookie or if every player in their first 100 games got an off season to better themselves and also got breaks in between, and that's not to discredit Zion. I think Zion's one of my favorite players to watch. I love the Pelicans because I love Zion. I also love BI. But this is not at all to say anything bad about Zion. I completely agree. I think it's on the journalism of it, where it's like, it's fun and it's catchy to say, and it's like, oh, look how great Zion is. But I think that we can credit Zion for the things that he's doing without bringing in a stat like that, because not every other player in the league gets off seasons and gets multiple off seasons in between their first 100 games. Also gets breaks in between. Like, look at the sophomores this year, whether it be Caden, his injuries that he's dealing with right now, but also the struggles he had at the start of the year. Same thing with Evan Mobley, same thing with Scotty Barnes, same thing with Jalen Green. Like, these guys go through it because it's really hard to jump from college to the NBA and have to do that every single night, and it's not something that Zion did. So I just think that, like, framing it in that way is a pretty lazy thing to do.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
OG Anunoby's the defensive player of the year.
Brook Lopez also exists, by the way, but
what also?
Nope.
I'm pushing a nasty Brook Lopez agenda this year.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez is, like, it's great. Yeah, love what Brook Lopez is doing. Love what the Bucks are doing. I think something that OG does that I think sort of separates him from the rest of the class. I think if we there's a stat that just got up right now, and I retweeted what S just put there. So he held Donovan Mitchell to 8 points, his first game in single digits in the last 121 games that he's played. Donovan Mitchell has scored at least 10 points in 121 consecutive games, and he just went up against OG Anunoby and broke that. Also, Luka Doncic has taken less field goal attempts versus the Raptors than any other team that he's played this year. He had not a great game against OG Anunoby, where he went 5 for 12 from the floor. Kevin Durant went 2 for 6 when guarded by OG Anunoby. DeJounte Murray went 1 for 5, and Jimmy Butler went 1 for 4. I think what's really special about those stats is we're talking about guys who are guards, we're talking about guys who are wings, and we're talking about guys who are bigs. That's what sort of OG Anunoby allows you to do, and I think the defensive versatility there, along with just how menacing he is. Like, watching that Cavs game last night, there's this one three that Karis LeVert took that was so short. It was he had a couple of threes that were incredibly short, but really all it was he thought OG was behind him and coming at him, like the rush shots that they got. There was also this one possession where I think it was Donovan Mitchell or it was Darius Garland, one of the two, had this really ugly shot that he rushed, and it was and the broadcast credited Gary Trent Jr. for great defense on him, but really what it was OG Anunoby switched on him and he panicked, and then another switch was called, and he gave the ball up to Darius Garland. I think it was Donovan Mitchell who had the ball, gave the ball up to Darius Garland. Darius Garland took a terrible shot guarded by Gary Trent Jr., but it was a live bomb that Darius Garland passed up, and the reason for that was OG Anunoby was on him and he panicked and didn't know what to do. So I think just being able to go out on the perimeter and do that against guys, while also, because the Raptors don't have a center, being their main line of defense on the back end as well, that versatility is just something that doesn't exist in most guys, and it exists in OG Anunoby, and he doesn't have a Giannis alongside him. He is being asked to do it all.
I'm with
Don't. No, I said you're gonna go after Steven. See?
No, I just thought I put that. The case.
Yep. All right. I was going to say anyway, if you're trying to make a case for Brook Lopez, and you have to make a case for Miles Turner because they're the same player. Steven, thank you for your patience, your thoughts, and on heliocentricity, Mavs, and of course your Cavs losing to the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, first thing I want to say is shout out to Toronto for beating the Cavs yesterday. They did a good job. But speaking about the Mavs and the Bucks. The Bucks just proving why they the best team in the league. You know, like Luka is a really great player. And Giannis is a really great player. Giannis is just a champion.
What did he say?
I think he said the Bucks were the best team in the league. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, he said the Bucks. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Man, just jumpy.
I'm pretty sure they're the best team in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
How's it crazy? Let him finish his take.
My Detroit Pistons don't exist. That's wild.
Do they?
It's too early for them right now.
Keep going. Don't let him derail you. He's living in misery as he has to watch his Pistons be the Pistons. Keep going.
But yeah, the Bucks, they champions, man. They was home, so they got the advantage. It's really hard for the Mavericks to like be on point playing like in Milwaukee because they gotta have everything go their way if they want to like win that game. But I mean, you got a great player with Luka with Dallas, and Dallas is like a really good team. They can be better. I mean, you have a great team with the Bucks, and that's pretty much it.
All right, appreciate it. Akil, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is when we talk about the Mavs is they like absolutely pigeonholed themselves into this for like the next couple of years. Like they doubled down on it. They re-signed everybody. And Luka's like the only dude on their roster that could actually dribble a basketball. Like that's the toughest thing in this whole equation. So like, is it part A? Yeah, sure. Like there is this like heliocentric thing that the Mavs do, but then like my number one counter back to that would be like who else can dribble? Like who can actually do anything with the basketball in their hands? Because if you tell me it's Spencer Dinwiddie, stop the cap. Like it's not that. He is not that guy, pal. Like he just isn't. I watched that whole Mavs Bucks game. And outside of Christian Wood, Luka pick and roll, they were nothing. Like, they were absolutely cooked. There is nothing that team can do on the basketball court offensively. And, you know, that's the thing. They signed up for it, so like they did it to themselves. But they kind of just have to play this style of basketball because they simply have no other thing that they can do that can get them offense. And like, yeah, like Luca can get you the best offense in the NBA. But my thing always is like when you get to the playoffs, like that type of style, in my opinion, very very predictable. And when you get to the playoffs, it's super easy to load up on, right? Like you watched it all the time with Harden way back in the day with the Rockets. Like you know what's coming. If it's just like one ball screen, like you only really have to guard two people at once at all times, and basically everybody else is kind of just standstill shooters or whatever. Easy, super predictable. I mean, it sucks for the Mavs because they like did it to themselves, but I mean, at the same point, it's like I get it. Like this Luca
So
Hughes, what's up?
so let me ask it this. Let me ask it in another way, because also one of the things that we are seeing are players not hitting their career averages in shots. So what if they start hitting their career averages in shots, and we start seeing what happened last season when they came on in the second half?
Yeah, the Mavs also always start slow too. Like that's another thing in this equation. Like they started really slow last season too. More than anything for me, it's like their defense. Their defense from last year isn't really kind of the same as it was this year. Like they're not really looking the same in my opinion. But that's the other thing. It's like if they make jump shots, like it works. But if they don't, they they're kind of screwed. Like it's one of those things where the offense gives you a really really high floor, but the ceiling of like that offensive play stylistically is damn near the floor. Like there's not much that I can get to like outside of what you already know it is.
All right. Anybody else want to hop in here with their thoughts on Jose's question before we move on? Because if we're about to move on to, I think it's the Rockets and Nuggets real quick. Iman with their hand up. Go ahead, Iman.
I was just trying to pull it up right now, just looking at what, because to me, even the point about the Mavs always starting off slow, a large part of that is quite often that Luka starts off slow, right? Like how many times are we hearing, oh, Luka needs to work his way back into shape after the summer, and so you see his numbers, and I was trying to pull up what his numbers look like at the beginning of last season versus this year, and this year Luka started off on a tear, right? Like he just goes out and has 30 points every night. And the thing is, the Mavs are 0-5 when Luka doesn't score 30 points. That is not like when we talk about heliocentrism. I think that kind of points to it. He is their hub on offense, which to me is what a heliocentric player is. They don't go if without Luka. And their starting five with Dwight Powell actually has a really positive net rating, right? Which surprised me. The JaVale McGee starting five is the worst starting five in basketball. It was disgustingly terrible. But when they had Dwight Powell in there for JaVale McGee, they actually had a positive starting five. It's one of the better ones in the league. But the problem is, and like I feel like a lot of people are pulling for Christian Wood to start, and that just really, really, really hurts their defense. And I think your point, I think it was Akil who said this, their defense is the issue, and that's a large part of it. The Mavs offense really doesn't consist of anything. They're one of the worst teams in transition offense because they're not getting any stops, so they're not going to get out and run. They don't move the ball a ton, so people point to their lack of turnovers. Well, it's because they don't have any sort of ball movement. For a good chunk of the season, they were dead last. I think they've just shut up a little bit. But like, if you're not moving the ball around and you're not like, whether or not other guys score, like Raptors just played the Mavs, and I watched that game entirely. But I've watched some of these other Mavs games, and it's very clear to me that no one respects anybody. Like, I think that like blaming Luka for the heliocentrism is like a huge problem. I don't understand why people are
Oh,
doing it. I don't
I'm not
understand why
blaming Luca. I'm
no,
blaming
I know
Kid.
that like we're not in here, but it seems to be that like, oh, people are talking about, oh, Luka can never win like this. Oh, look at him trying to da 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 da. And it's like, it's not Luka's fault. Luka can pass it up. Other guys are not only not making shots, but the Raptors foamed at the mouth if any other player had the ball in their hands because they knew that was an easy turnover, right? Like you don't even trust them to have the ball in their hands because you don't trust the dribble or the pass that they're going to make. The final possession of the Mavs Raptors game, that was hard to say, was the final moment of that game was Luka getting doubled, really what happened was Luka has a ball. G obviously picks him up. And then Maxi Kleber comes in to set a screen, and Thaddeus Young completely leaves Maxi. They were not going to switch that. Instead, what they did is they doubled Luka. So Luka found Maxi, who should have been a roller. They had over 10 seconds left. They could have gone for a quick 2 and fouled because they were down 3. So they could have extended the game by just quick 2 and foul because they have over 10 seconds. That is a viable solution in that scenario. But what ended up happening was Maxi Kleber turns it over. Like they panicked. It's just, to me, they don't know what they're doing outside of Luka, and I think that that's a part of losing Jalen Brunson and like a disaster scenario. And I think that people are not pointing to Giannis and not saying that oh look, Giannis can never win like this, or what is Giannis doing, because everyone looks at that and says Chris Middleton's coming back, and Chris Middleton is probably their best playmaker. Chris Middleton is probably their best ball
Can
handler.
I answer this really quickly?
Not yet, JB. Not yet,
you
JB.
can. I'm done. I'm done in just a second. But basically, people are looking at the Bucks and saying Middleton is coming back, and that changes the entire outlook of that team. Everyone's looking at the Mavs and saying there is no change to be made here. They have no assets.
Real quick, and then I'll get you queued up for the Celtics rant.
I don't want to rant. I want to actually, I want to address Adam's point about why.
I'm understanding what you mean. I'm trying to move on because we got to get the games and your rant in. We'll get 30 seconds for your answer here for
my only answer to her as to why people are looking at the Mavs and Luka is that Luka is number 4 in usage rate. Giannis is number 2. Luka at 36.9 of all qualifying NBA players, behind luminaries such as Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the almighty Jaden Springer. That's the reason that people are looking at him. The reason that they're zeroed in on the heliocentric topic is because of the Mavs' record and the fact that they're currently out of the playoffs. Your points are completely valid. There's nothing you're saying that's wrong. But if you're wondering why they're zeroed in, if that's the question is because the answer is because they're 9-9, and he's the 4th highest usage rate. That's all.
Cool. The most damning thing that I have is this is a carbon copy of the Allen Iverson Sixers years. Nothing good is going to end of this if they don't pay attention to what they're doing. And I know a lot of people in the beginning of this season and the off season, there's been Kobe and Luka talk. No, it's not. It's Luka and Iverson.
And Dikembe Mutombo then, because this defense is bad.
they tried with JaVale McGee. I know, but that's what this is. Spencer Dinwiddie is the offensive version of Eric Snow, right? Dorian Finney-Smith is Aaron McKee.
Who's Andre
Reggie
Iguodala?
Bullock is George Lynch. And the White Pal JaVale McGee combo is Spencer Hawes with worse shooting. Let me move on. We are now on to the Denver Nuggets and Houston Rockets. Real quick one because we got 4 games to go. We have the Celtics
and better politics. Sorry.
And better politics. 129-113. The Nuggets over Houston. Jokic does Jokic things. But more importantly, there seems to be even more growth for the free Jabari Smith movement. We will give 30 seconds to the founder of said movement, Jay the Wakandan, and then we will tee JB Fortis up for his Celtics rant, ladies and gentlemen. Jay, congratulations. I have now seen a couple more people saying Jabari Smith Jr. Deserves better and should not be in Houston. What say you?
That I'm right, and I give HoopSpaces the gift of foresight. No, it's not that Houston is building a bad project. It's that personalities fit. These aren't just 2K things. These aren't guys on a spreadsheet. These are human beings. And Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. have no interest in making sure Jabari Smith is getting shots in the flow or that he's engaged in the game. Anybody who's watched basketball or been around basketball long enough, you realize if big guys don't eat, they tend to wander off mentally on defense because what's the point? Like nobody goes to LA Fitness thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go play defense." Like, no, you want to get a run in, you want to get some shots up, you want to touch the ball, and so they're using him the way Kevin Love was used in Cleveland, and that's he can grow into that skill set, but that's not what his skill set is right now. And he's learning really bad basketball habits because there was a play in that game where he gets the rebound and he's a 6'11" man. He should get it to the guard, but that's not what he did because they don't give him the ball. He decided, oh, I finally got the ball. It's going up. So he politely dribbles the ball up court, looks Jokic in the eye, gives him a little shoulder fake, and rises up from the wing. Now, does the ball go in? Sure. But that was a good result of a very bad process. That's not winning basketball. But that's what he's learning in Houston. He's learning that if no one's going to look out for Jabari, then Jabari got to look out for Jabari. So he takes a lot of isolated, bad shots. And he has the talent, he has the intelligence, he has the work ethic to eventually be a quote-unquote shot maker a la Kobe Bryant or Carmelo Anthony. But that's bad. Like, I can't really express to you how bad that is. That this is his NBA education, and this
he
is
got
what
benched.
he's learning. Yeah, he got benched.
He got benched for it too.
Yeah, he got benched for it. But the thing is, you don't bench Jalen Green. There are positions where Jalen Green doesn't pass the ball. There are positions where Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't pass the ball. And so now what you're telling Jabari is not even what the definition of good basketball, the definition of good play, isn't even applicable across the board. And so, no, I don't know if the coach in Houston is really the one in charge. I don't know if the front office is dictating that this guy should get this many shots and this, that, and the other. I don't know what's going on in Houston, but it's a bad environment for Jabari Smith Jr. And he needs to be freed.
Like, I can tell you one thing.
I would argue more so than SGA, because it's bad.
I can tell you one thing. It is Jalen Green's team. Kevin Porter Jr. might have gotten an extension. It is Jalen Green's team. Very similarly to like what the Hawks did for Trae Young.
Yeah, or what Memphis did for Ja Morant. But the thing is that Ja Morant, the difference between Ja Morant and the Trae Young and Jalen Greens of the world is Ja knows he can get a shot. Ja knows that he can put up 30 shots and Taylor Jenkins is just going to clap his hands and say, whatever, right? But the thing is, Ja wants to win. And so Ja would much rather go to the arena and give you 18, 12, and 8 and come out with a 5-point win than drop 35 and 3 in a 10-point loss. And I don't think Jalen Green feels the same. And I'm going to be really honest, I don't think Trae Young feels the same. And Jabari Smith wants to win, but you're on a team. And if the Houston Rockets were like 12 and 8, if they were 16 and 4, I think Jabari Smith will have a much easier time accepting the play style and what's going on. But they're losing, and this is probably the most Jabari Smith has ever lost in his life. And you can tell it bothers.
Yeah,
like you can
it
really
does.
Tell, it bothers Jabari.
Let me get some nuggets in here real quick. Jokic and Murray both go for 11 for 17. They combine for 63 points, 13 assists, and 14 rebounds. This is awesome for Murray. I wonder if this is going to be enough for Denver, who is without Michael Porter Jr. When it comes to playing teams that are actually championship quality. That's always been the question. The trade that they made in the offseason to bring in Contavious Caldwell-Pope, to bring in Bruce Brown, seems to also be paying dividends because they're a much more defensive sound team. Aaron Gordon only played 14, hoping He had foul trouble, but he didn't look right either. Hoping that there's not a nagging injury. Real quick, I want to make sure we can get these other games in here. Buy or sell, Denver is a legit contender. Just real quick around the room. If you're available, open up your mic and say yes or no.
No, but
See,
very
you're adding a but. All right.
I'm
Akil,
sorry.
go.
I thought you just said open up your mic and say yes or no.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't expecting the but. I thought you might go into a long explanation.
Oh, no, it's 10 seconds. No,
Cool.
but right on the verge.
There you go. Akil.
Yes, because I think the Western Conference stinks, kind of. So yes.
All right, KB, who's finding us here new. What's up, KB? Do us a favor. Shoot us a follow. We'll shoot a follow back. Welcome to Hoop Spaces. Yes or no? Buy or sell Denver?
Yeah, appreciate you for letting me up. I do believe they are a contender, but my only asterisk is that if they play either the Phoenix Suns or like the Golden State Warriors, like a team that's like a great screen team or has like good pull-up shooters, and I'm afraid their front court just won't be able to actually kind of handle that. But other than that, I think they are clear contenders, obviously. So, yeah.
All right. Akil, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think Jabari actually has been playing pretty well, man. I think the one game, not even this one, his game against Golden State was a game where I was like, okay, looks like he's kind of like starting to figure it out / turn the corner. I'm on a free Eric Gordon campaign. Like, we are wasting. This guy probably wants to get out of there so badly, brother. Like, and the thing is too, like the young kids clearly like they just need to play. So it's just like, get him out of there, man. Like, you are just wasting his time. He could help a ton of teams right now, that are actually trying to like win games and like make playoff pushes. So get him out of there. Free him.
Well, unfortunately, the I think the thing that got him was the contract he signed. So there's some teams that they don't want to bring up that second year. He should be on, I would say, the Lakers. He'd be good on the Mavs. He'd be good. I think actually for New York, if they wanted to trade to move off of Evan Fournier and Emmanuel quickly, I think Eric Gordon in New York would make too much sense. Anybody else for buy or sell real quick on Denver? And then we're going to go to the Boston Celtics and Charlotte Hornets debacle. We're going to talk with JB Fortis, host of NBA and NFL Now, 8 a.m. in the morning. Anybody else for buy or sell?
Buying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm buying the Nuggets.
Wherever the Joker is, I'm buying. Contender?
All right.
We're not talking championship contender. I'm buying.
All right. Up next, we're going to have the guy explain what it is Boston as they whooped Charlotte 140-105. They are 17-4. And I want to give a good shout out to Joe Mazzulla here because he has joined the likes of Greg Popovich and Doc Rivers in the highest winning percentages of a head coach since 2008. So let's give him a shout out. JB Fortis, Boston, go.
The Boston Celtics right now are not just the best team in the NBA because of what they're doing on offense or because of their record. The Boston Celtics are winning games in a myriad of ways, and the numbers don't do it justice. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are very worried about the Miami Heat coming up in these next two games. They have a back-to-back with the Miami Heat, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. The Miami Heat are a not good team right now. They are averaging 108.4 points per game at 28th overall and have a minus 0.5 net rating. Even though they are 14th in defensive rating, or not 14th in defensive rating, 9th in defensive rating, at 110.2 points per game. And even though they've won 3 straight, they're about to go on a 2-game losing streak to the Boston Celtics, who are 120.4 points per game, first overall. And they are a fine defensive team at 14th in defensive rating, but within 2 points of becoming number 7th. And when the Boston Celtics decide to lock down, they're absolutely able to. Any time they want to lock down. They were in charge of the Hornets pretty much from the first quarter on. They had a 20-point lead to end the first quarter, and I don't want to say they never relinquished it, but it never was in doubt. That game was silly. So instead of focusing on the Hornets, because I know that a lot of people really are here to say that the Boston Celtics haven't done it in the championship, they haven't done it in the playoffs, and therefore we can't believe in them. I want to explain that the Boston Celtics are the anti-definition of heliocentric basketball. They do 26.7 assists per game, which is 11th overall, behind Marcus Smart, who is just he's outstanding right now in terms of assist to turnover ratio. And the other way they're doing it is by living by the three. I'm going to bring up three players right now. Grant Williams at 45.2% from three-point range. Peyton Pritchard, 41.7% from three-point range. Sam Hauser, 48.9% from three-point range. What's the point of those three players? Why those three players as opposed to anyone else? Because those players are coming off the bench. Right? They're not starting. They're not the primary defensive assignments. Those guys are coming off the bench to do what? To run an offense and to keep the three-point barrage just bombs away. The best player at the three-point range, the person that everybody's picking right now, is Wardell Stephen Curry, who should be the MVP right now, and he's at 52.2%. But when people like to say the Warriors are the team, they're the team who's going to knock off the Celtics, or they're the team that they're the best 9 seed ever in the NBA, they neglect to acknowledge that the Warriors don't have any 3-point shooting off the bench. Jordan Poole is the big guy, and he's at 41.8%, or as I like to think of it, 0.1% better than Peyton Pritchard at the same position. And yet we overrate the Warriors. We start to think that the Warriors are, the next are going to repeat as NBA champions. Right now is the perfect time to get on the Boston Celtics bandwagon. And there's room. There's lots of room because this defensive rating is going to go up when Robert Williams comes back by a lot. It's going to get a lot better with Robert Williams. That's just going to make the Celtics, they're just going to be deeper. So as the Celtics proceed to extend their winning streak from 4 games to 7 games, and I say 7 because the Brooklyn Nets come after the Miami Heat, and they have about as good a chance of beating the Boston Celtics in a game as Ben Simmons does of ever regaining superstar status. I encourage everybody to go to slamgoods.com, use the code HoopSpaces to save money, and buy in to this Boston Celtics run. This is your championship favorite right now. The only teams that can beat the Boston Celtics are teams that are able to score within 2 points and play bully ball. You have a grand total of 2 teams that have done that successfully in Chicago and Cleveland. And if Cleveland's missing Jarrett Allen, or if Chicago is missing Vooch and not playing desperate, they're in trouble. If the Celtics ever decide to lock down, they are the best team by a mile, and it's precisely because they don't play heliocentric basketball, which goes back to the conversation you were just having, Chris. Thanks.
Bro, it's very early for you to be talking.
It's like a quarter of the way.
You need to calm down. And by the way, you reading all this fucking stats of this and that and that and this. Nobody is winning back-to-backs in these in this series where you're playing 2 teams in 3 nights or 4 nights. Miami's going to win one of those just because. So I think you need to relax on Boston, though. We're playing like 20 games, and you got them winning the chip already. Calm down, boss.
I'm only going to give one response to that, which is in the last 2 games, the Celtics played the Wizards on Sunday, and then and then they played the Hornets yesterday, and yesterday would be Monday, so that would be a back-to-back. And the Celtics won both of them.
He means the home. He means the home and home. And guess what? The Heat played the Wizards in a home and home, and they swept them too. So it can happen. Mm-hmm. But one thing I think you're forgetting is Jimmy Butler is on the sideline. So probably the Celtics do win, but I think we have to remember that the Heat are not entirely healthy right now. So it's not like a steamroll by any means. One team is banged up and one team isn't.
And
Robert Williams is hurt, but they've got their best player.
That's the thing. JB, I would say, you know what? The Celtics are really good, but I would wait to start talking about championship aspirations until Rob Williams comes back and you see what he's got left in the tank.
Because
Then
All
you
I'm
one,
can
going to
well,
start to pump
say,
out your press a little bit. Then
all
we
I'm
can have
going
a
to
well,
say is that it's 25% of the way through the season. It's 21 games, and one team has an 8-10 winning percentage, and no other team comes like within 70 percentage points
I
of
just want
that
to
you
team.
I
love
want
the
to I
J.
want to
You love
highlight.
the
I
J.
really just want to
Dillon
say
and
the Bucks.
Boston.
Too many at once. JB got him. I want to highlight. You can go to slamgoods.com and you can actually buy into the bandwagon of the Boston Celtics by purchasing a Jason Tatum t-shirt. It's the one where he had the Band-Aid underneath the eye. JB's got him today. Everybody give JB a round of applause. You can catch the NBA NFL now at 8 o'clock and hear this madman scream into the winds of Twitter for some self-therapy. Got him. Good job, JB.
One more stat. The Boston
Yeah.
Oh,
Celtics
brother.
are 10-1 at home. The Miami Heat are 2-7 on the road.
Okay, I just
Oh,
wanted to say I was wrong.
Dude, let me give you a quick stat. Miami is having a great start, and they're still only 5 games up. They're not up 15 games on everybody. Relax.
I love it, man. I love it. We've got 20 minutes to go. We still have Lakers to talk about. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit this button so y'all can listen to some lovely music. I'm gonna mute everybody so I can get through these two games here. In the game that nobody but myself and Chicago Bulls and a handful of people in Salt Lake City watched, the Chicago Bulls defeated the Utah Jazz 114-107. I'm going to tell you this. They need to trade DeMar DeRozan. Like, it's either DeMar's team or it's Levine's team. You invested in Levine long term. And the only thing that I can tell you is after now watching 104 games of these Chicago Bulls, like the duo's just not going to work together. And it's not a shot on either of them. They don't work. They're not going to be enough to challenge the top teams in the league. And you're saying, well, they just beat Utah. Well, Utah is no longer a top team in the league, and they are regressing to the mean as people finally realized they're trying to get 53s a game. And they're starting to, defend the perimeter better. One positive that I did see from Detroit is Kobe White. It looks like the moons have aligned. Mercury is in retrograde, I think is the joke people say. His horoscope is coming true because he's starting to be able to shoot the ball again. 6 for 9, 15 off the bench. And that's what they've been needing. Without that type of offense off the bench, they don't have enough in that starting unit to propel them. Utah, Laurie is still doing it. King of the North, 32 points, 7 for 11 from deep. Pretty much locking up an all-star hit if he continues at even 80% of what he's currently outputting. Kelly Olynyk, 23 points. He's pumping up that trade value. But when you look at this Jazz team, you can tell that the league's caught up and figured it out. They're limiting Vanderbilt's ability to drive and kick. They're harassing Clarkson more as a ball handler and spot-up shooter. And then now also with Beasley coming off the bench, Beasley and Clarkson combining for 4 for 19 from deep. And if they don't hit a minimum of 8 threes together, they don't really do that much else. Also, last night, the Suns beat the Kings. A lot of people are actually starting to watch more Kings basketball. Shout out to you. I want to make sure that everybody understands, though, that the beam was not lit last night, but it was a hell of a game. Devin Booker had to score 44 points and drag his teammates to victory. DeAndre Ayton should have been able to have 40 himself. He was 8 for 10 and couldn't be stopped, yet somehow he only took 10 shots and 2 free throws. This is a bad sign for DeAndre Ayton. And it's like his teammates are winning in spite of him. And that's bad. Just imagine if he were to buy in just to the team, not the coach, not the owner, and just his teammates, how much more better Phoenix would be. Sacramento, 117. De'Aaron Fox, off game, 11 points, 5 assists. Kevin Huerter, 0 for 5 from deep. Probably his worst three-point shooting game of the season, 8 for 15 overall. Off the bench, though, Malik Monk having another career resurgent year after getting a second chance with the Lakers, 30 points, 8 assists. All right, there you go. Next up, as we're getting ready to close out in 15 minutes, the Indiana Pacers and the Los Angeles Lakers did battle, and it was just back and forth, even into the fourth quarter, uh, opening up. The Pacers just put it on them. 32-22 advantage here. Game-winning shot by the rookie out of the Gonzaga University, the Zags, Andrew Nimhard, Canadian Prince, as those who are coming up will attest to, combined with Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield to pull off a magnificent last-second shot for the victory. 12 points for Nimhard, 23 from a third off of the bench. Buddy Hield 15, Tyrese Halliburton 24 and 14 and 7. And I'm telling you now, once again, only two players at point guard have done more this season. And they are Luka Doncic, Steph Curry. That is it. Tyrese Halliburton will probably win the assist record this year. And to be honest, I don't see it changing anytime soon unless Scoot Henderson comes up and is phenomenally in terms of floor generaling. Because what we haven't seen is a point guard who's been able to deliver the ball consistently a la Jason Kidd until now. And like, this is amazing. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check out a Pacers game. Miles Turner, 15 and 13, 3 blocks. Aaron Naismith, 16 points. And he was just, quote, a throw-in to the Malcolm Brogdon trade, turning into a positive asset for the Indiana Pacers. All right, 7-12 LA, 12-8 Indiana. Malika was ready for this. I'm going to open it up with Malika. If you want to talk Lakers and Pacers, raise your hands. After Malika, I'll get Zazu, I'll get KB, Akil, Jay the Wakandan, and the rest of everybody. I see a couple people trying to pop up. I'll get them as well. Appreciate y'all. Malika, go ahead.
I was really shocked with the meltdown of the Lakers at the end of this game because, they were up 17 with 5 minutes left or something like that. And quite frankly, they got too comfortable. I know that LeBron, hurt I think he hurt his ankle at some point, or he was hurt somewhere at some point. And he left the game for a minute, got retaped up or whatever, then he came back. But I was shocked at just the meltdown of letting them climb back and win the game. But one thing I love about the Pacers, I love the makeup of the team. I love the team itself. I mean, they've redesigned. I feel like the Utah Jazz and the Pacers totally redesigned their teams, and Indiana's fun to watch this year. Your hometown team, Chris. I mean, Halliburton. I like Miles Turner in this lineup. I mean, everybody's looking for him to be traded because he wants a new contract, but I do like him in this lineup. Mathurin. I mean, that kid. He does not play like no damn rookie. I'm sorry. Like, Mathurin will be starting. He should be starting early by next year for sure. But on tons of teams, he'll be starting now. Like, I just love the way this team plays. I love the way they play 48 minutes. And when you playing them, you're going to grind for the whole game because they don't let up. They push. They remind me a little bit of a younger Raptors team, because when you play the Raptors, the Raptors, they don't take plays off. They play the whole game. They're going to fight the whole game. That's how I feel about the Pacers. I was so happy that the rookie hit that shot. It was the Lakers just let that happen. It's not just the Lakers making it happen and chilling, but the Pacers made it happen. That rookie hit that shot and it was a wrap. But that last night was really a representation of why I watch so many Pacers games, because they can eke it out at the end and they fight. They do have some comebacks in the fourth quarter, and love watching Halliburton play. Love watching him play. And so I really want to just get that out, because last night everybody's going to talk about the Lakers let that go. Yeah, but the Pacers won a game and they grinded it out, and that's that. Now everybody can come with the deep analysis and all that, but it was a good game. It was a dope game to watch, fun, and I was so glad to see the Pacers eke it out. And congrats to the rookie. And Matherin will be starting for any team. And let me just say this: Boston would have won that game regardless, I think, but I don't think it would have been such a wide gap if Hornets were missing 5 of their 8 rotation players. They are extremely injured right now. They would have won. I'm not saying
All
they
right.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
won, but they
Okay.
are missing 5 of their 8 rotation players right now. It's a hot
I
it's a hot mess going on in that
I
bench right
I
now.
I I understand the signs and symptoms of Stockholm syndrome when I see them or hear them. Are you
No,
okay?
but it's true. They're missing 5 of their 8 rotations. I'm not saying they would have won a game. I'm saying it, like it's possible. Would not be by as much because they did
Okay.
have 5 of 8 rotation players
She's not
missing.
saying they would have won the game. Let her say that.
I know I
That's what
understand
I'm
what she's
saying.
I
I'm
understand
saying
what
it
she's
wouldn't have
saying, but
been
like
as
they
wide
made
of a
Luke Cornett look like an all-star.
Chris. 5 of their 8 rotation players are on the bench.
Luke Cornett.
Did you not hear what I said? That five of
I
their 8
heard,
rotation
but
players
but
are on
it
the
was
bench.
Luke
At
Cornett.
least 3 starters.
All right. We're going to move on. We're talking Lakers and Pacers. I'm going to try to go maybe 5-10 minutes over, but I do have a hard out at 1:15. If you want to come on up, keep those hands raised. Keep the time as short as you can, everybody. We'll go next to Jay the Wakandan. We got KB, Nelly J, Zazu, Half Court Heat, Mon, Saged Up, and Jeff. Thank you, everybody. Jay, go.
Paolo Banchero has never lost to the Pacers. Thank you.
Wow. Nelly J, how you doing? It's hard to follow that one up.
Um, hey, Chris. Yeah, I mean, simple and sweet, right? I'll be quick as well. First of all, just big up to Canada, man. Like, Canada is everywhere, Chris. I see Canadians all over the NBA. If you guys watch the FIBA under 18 team back, I think it was the 2018 team, that FIBA under 18, Nemhard was on that team. Yo, man, y'all gotta watch the FIBA Canadian teams under 18. These guys coming up in the pipeline are just really, really talented. We're not surprised about Mathurin. We're not surprised about Nemhard. Like Chris said, these guys have been hooping in college, hooping in high school. Like they were recruited to the States to train and play and develop and so we're just so happy. Big up to brother Ryan, who also hooped, had a season, I think surgery last year. No, I think this year or last year. So yeah, but Nemhard making that shot, man, like I was just proud for him, but also for just all the Canadians watching him. SGA, these guys are like, yes, like they're on your timelines, y'all. Canada, we're everywhere. So big up to them. I do think I like Benedict starting off the bench. I think it's good for development wise, to make him fight. And also, of course, when he starts, he can get there. But I don't mind having rookies come off the bench. I'm okay with that type of stuff. But the Lakers, to me, just been so inefficient offensively. The decision making they made, Chris, in that fourth quarter, I was just, I was just shocked. Just what they were trying to do, the shots they're trying to take, like AD is there, why are you not giving him the ball? Just a lot of, I think, miscommunication, and they don't really have a hierarchy of to close out games, who's our guy? Like who's the guy we need to feed to close out games? And once they figure that out, they can maybe win 1 or 2 more games. But I just think that game was just an embarrassment. So I'm gonna land there.
All right, appreciate it. Nelly J and Fahim for the win, ladies and gentlemen, host of Raptors Live TV. Make sure you pop in pre and post game whenever they're open up. So shoot her a follow. We've got to get some of the stuff over on our YouTube channel. So make sure you reach out to Justin, get some more eyes on as we continue to grow. Up next, we're going to go to KB. KB, thanks for finding us here. Keep it 60 seconds as possible. I got a couple more people wanting to come on up. Appreciate you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just make this really short. The Lakers defense just collapsed in the fourth quarter completely. They had a 17-point lead, I believe. I think that was their biggest lead, and the Pacers didn't start going on that crazy run until like about 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. So there was like a good 3 minute stretch of basketball where Indiana was just not playing that like a good brand of basketball, and to still give up 32 points in 9 minutes is ridiculous to me. A lot of people are blaming Russell Westbrook for that fourth quarter, which I actually don't understand. He's actually a majority for that game. He was playing really well, and I'm pretty sure he had like 6 points in that fourth quarter. He shot 36 from the field, so he was actually pretty solid. A lot of people are gonna hate what what I'm about to say, but I don't think LeBron currently is a top 20 player in the NBA. He's just not playing well at all. I understand he just came back from injury, but
Really?
he's not. He's not that good, to be honest. Free AD, he can't like continue to mask every single problem for the Lakers defensively because that's the only reason why they look substantially normal. And they gave up a lot of open buckets in that fourth quarter to the Indiana Pacers. Like the game winner itself, you had a wide open Miles Turner for some reason, and then LeBron was just not on his matchup at all. And as soon as the ball got caught, it was just like, okay, that they just won the game like that. So it was a complete collapse from the Lakers in the fourth quarter in general. They shouldn't be doing that, and yeah, that's about it. The team does suck, so like I don't expect anything less from them. So
coming in with the left hook, following with the right overhand, saying LeBron not top 20 despite averaging 26, 6, and 9.
Paulo
it's
Banchero
not
Thank
has a
you.
higher.
it's not that our
Paulo
great
Banchero has a
efficiency
higher
when you watch the
offensive
games. He's
rating
just
per
not.
And,
100.
and
He's
how
not
about
playing well at all.
how about newsflash? Indiana isn't trash this year. How about that?
I never said
Woo!
they were trash.
No, he's Al's just passionate. That's a good one, KB. I hope to see you more often here. Up next, we're gonna go to Zazu. You made it. Congratulations. I'm happy to see you here in the morning time. Well, actually afternoon now, but in the morning time. How you doing, Zazu?
Hey man, good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me out here in your space, man. You always hold one of the great spaces out there. Shout out to you, my guy. You can ding
Thank
yourself
you.
on
Appreciate it.
that. I just want to say Lakers sucks. I'd like to start out with my take with saying Lakers sucks. They're just bottom feeders right now. Like no matter what, like I'm not surprised. Like that's what bottom feeder teams do. They lose 17-point lead in fourth quarter. It's there's no like they've been playing the Spurs for the last 2-3 years, and they think they're like in the championship caliber team again. Like come on, come back to earth now. With our game last night, just listen. My guy OG Anunoby's a bag collector. If hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your superstars. Your superstars, if they have any kind of bag, he's collecting it. He's taking it, put it in a closet, and locking it up. Yeah, we don't play around. OG's definitely making an amazing case for Defensive Player of the Year. So shout out to my boy OG, and of course, I'm always going to give my shout out to my boy Scotty Barnes, who I think was the best number 4 on the court out there last night. And then of course, Boston Celtics, man. I want to love you guys, but your fan base, man, you guys are just something different, man. Like I want to love that team. I really do. Like, I have a lot of respect for that green color. But I have to say, you guys look at the team that you've been playing the past couple of actually the whole entire month or two.
Which team should we look at the 17-4 record? Which one would you like us to see?
Your strength of season is right now. It's been easy for you guys. Okay, and it's going to continue to get easy for a while. And so
let me send a postcard to the Atlanta Hawks and tell them that they were easy.
Atlanta Hawks suck. We can go through it. Like, we can go through it, but again, I don't want to take too much time. I just want you guys to be a little bit realistic here with like who you've been playing and who they've had that been playing against you guys. Just be a little bit realistic there. Because when you guys come up north again, you guys will get a little bit of whooping from us again. So with that being said, I want to thank you again, Chris, for having me out here. Shout out to Raptors. Shout out to Raptor Spaces, Nelly J. Come catch up out there. Aiden is always doing that work out here. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one, Zazu. I look forward to seeing you on another Raptors Live TV. Man, look, here's some Lakers stats. And, to be honest, there's some good news and some good play. Anthony Davis, 37 minutes, 25, 13, 6, and 4 blocks. Phenomenal season thus far. And I think a lot of people just kind of discounted him because he had an injury. We don't hold others similar injury history to the same accord here. Let's just be honest. LeBron, kind of rusty. He had a 39-point performance earlier in the week or over the weekend. Tonight, 21. He was 8 for 22, 3 for 10. Big ups to Russell Westbrook, 10 for 18, 24 and 6 off the bench again. And I tell you what, um, Malcolm Brogdon might be in the driver's seat for the sixth man of the year, but it wouldn't be hard to make a case for Russell Westbrook if he continues this play through the season and the Lakers somehow figure out how to get into the play-in. Russell Westbrook probably will be up there to challenge Malcolm Brogdon. Austin Reeves had a good game too off the bench. 31 minutes. I think they chose to ride him instead of Lonnie Walker, as Lonnie just was off from deep. Yeah, 13 points. I would have rather had seen him and Lonnie Walker start and bring Troy Brown Jr. off the bench. I know that would have skewed it to a smaller lineup with Dennis Schroeder out there, but I think, unfortunately, Troy Brown is just not going to get you the volume spacing that you need. And I think at this point in his career, Austin Reeves is the better option. All right, we're going to go next to Michael. Michael, what do you think for the Los Angeles Lakers after you? We'll go to Saged Up, and we've got Half Court Heat to get ready to close us out after Iman. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I actually stayed up on the East Coast to the end of the Laker game. I watched pretty much the entire second half, and I mean, I don't think anyone really has said this so far, but I think it was awesome to see Russ balling and actually having the fan support behind him. We tweeted about it, but like Russ was actually like doing his thing, and like the fans were like eating it up. Like we've rarely seen that in his tenure so far with the Lakers. You know, we've obviously like heard about the worst of it, to the point where his family doesn't even want to come to the games anymore. But like the fans are actually like loving Russ last night, and Russ even looked like he was having fun. I thought we saw a lot of good stuff from him, from AD. Altogether, like it feels like the team is just still starting. It's just still like trying to gel together. Like I've been skeptical of like the 2 and 3 guard lineups they've had with people like Schroeder and Russ sharing the floor at the same time. But at the end of the game, I just think there is a lack of execution that you have to put on to like the coaching staff. Altogether, I try to be fair with Coach Ham, but it just wasn't. Yeah, there's no reason in the world like a team should be rolling and doing that well and giving up like such a lead with like all stars on their team. You know what I mean? And mind you, I'm a Hawks fan, so I've been extremely disgusted with my own team the last few games and us blowing miserable leads, including the leads to the Sixers earlier last night. So that left the horrible tapes in my mouth. But yeah, the Lakers thing was just really weird because I didn't think that we would see a game where in which LeBron was playing, Russ was actually playing well, AD was contributing, and everything just fell apart like that. I still don't know what sense to make of it.
After the first quarter, LeBron was just I don't know, but like Russ had a great game. AD was good. It's just more so the defense because like AD, what that guy has to do on the defensive end of the floor, his responsibility. I have never seen like it's damn near like Rudy Gobert in Utah bad, where it's just like it's just him. Like
that's the way it's designed,
and he can't continue to mask problems because like their POAs are just not playing that good.
But it's not supposed to be a problem. It's supposed to be designed to funnel into him.
Like, but bro, like
but AD's best when he's a roamer, when he could actually be a help
defender.
He can't be a help defender.
I understand that that's what his best is, right? But unfortunately, this is where I kind of agree with Ham. If you did that, you have no defense.
So my thing is this: like, why can't they just? I mean, obviously the trade deadline is a couple months away. Why can't they just pick up like a functional, or even a replacement level like rim protector or something?
So to be blunt, I don't think Pelinka wants to, and I've now said this for 3 weeks straight. Well, hear me out. For 3 weeks straight, I've been saying this. HoopSpaces Ryan is down below. Diehard Lakers fan and a good follow if you're wanting stats, facts, and actual objectivity from the Lakers, right? Rob Pelinka got this extension based on one plan and one plan only, and that was to go in the offseason with a clean cap sheet with just AD and LeBron. They'll get Max Christie, and they signed not Bryant, but the other one, Jones. to a 2-year 1-1 with the player option. So like they're going to walk into next year with buku cap space. Most of the players that they could pick up right now that would help them have multiple years on their contract. Like somebody said, JaVale McGee's not getting any play in Dallas. He's played and done well in Phoenix and LA. Why don't the Lakers go pick him up? Well, it's because he has 15, mil on 3 years, 2 more years on the deal after this year, and they don't want that. And it's the same thing with a couple other players we can name, which is probably the real reason they haven't made the Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, because they don't want to carry Buddy Hield's contract into the offseason. They would rather risk the chance of signing Miles Turner by himself without Buddy, as opposed to trade, get locked into a contract, get locked into an extension, and then if you're not a competitive championship contending team with Buddy, LeBron, Miles, and AD, you're locked in the offseason having to get nothing but the pickups of veteran minimums. So to me, once that plan was signed off on, which nothing has shown me that wasn't the plan, that was it.
So let me ask you real quick, Chris. Let me just ask you real quick, and then I know we got to move on. Is Pelinka just really about to waste an entire season in theory to get to the off season? Because it's like, wow.
Well, in theory, they are a play-in team.
Yes.
So they're not quote wasting, because they're still going to make the play-in. And if you make the play-in and you can be healthy, their mind is they can run the table because they've done it before. Jay, I'll give you 30 seconds real quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are having a hard time wrapping their mind around the fact that what's best for LeBron is not best for the team that he currently employs him for, let's say, the first time in 20 years. I would argue the third time in 20 years, but whatever. So, yeah, the Lakers are doing what Chris is saying, and it is the best path forward. And y'all just going to have to deal. Paulo Banchero, per 100 possessions, has a better offensive rating. Okay? Y'all just gonna have to deal with that. And if he wasn't getting rooked on defense, he'd have a better defensive rating per 100 possessions. No, he wouldn't. If he was rooked on defense.
Shout out to Evan Moore down below. Ham is having some growing pains as coach, but he also seems to have the fetish for small guards, as Pelinka does. Schroeder was a negative 17 last night and shouldn't have been closing. Halliburton was cooking him last night. Yes, and yes, the problem actually fits into what Jay said with Ham. Ham is trying to put in an offense that doesn't really fit personnel there. And when you're stuck with personnel that doesn't fit, or personnel that's not working, you got to go somewhere. And when Kendrick Nunn didn't take off, he had to go to Dennis Schroeder. I want to make sure Iman is able to say anything she wants about the Pacers and Lakers, and you can find her on Yahoo Sports Canada, also Basketball News, and also the Dishes and Dimes podcast, the best femme fatale podcast covering the NBA. Iman, your thoughts on the Lakers and Pacers?
Oh, Canada. Nemhard with the game winner. Absolute beauty of a shot. And Ben Mathurin said he needs to see if LeBron James is better than him. And guess what? Ben Mathurin had a better game than LeBron James last night. I'm just saying. LeBron don't, but I still have to get a joke off.
Really?
But I have to get a joke off.
Preach your mind.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say, Ben Mathurin did his thing. He said he needed to wait to go up against LeBron James. He did, and he outscored him and was more efficient than LeBron James. So shout outs to my Canadians.
All right. Sage Alvarez is up on stage. The point guard of Twitter is what he goes by. If you actually like finding new people to follow and you want a greater follower, count, he does a lot with sports fans. So if you want to shoot him a follow, he'll follow back. Sage, your thoughts on the Lakers, coach?
Man, I have been getting questions every single day on why the Lakers can't trade these 2 first-round picks. I mean, why can't they just get Jason Tatum at this point, bro? I mean, Kyrie seems like a realistic option with 2 first-round picks. That, to me, is just absolutely blasphemous that everyone could think 2 first-round picks are, and not even like guaranteed good picks. Literally, just 2 first-round picks is enough to get Kyrie Irving. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, do people forget who Kyrie Irving is? I mean, y'all almost, and then we're asking about Buddy Hield, and I'm just like, bro, the Lakers have no choice but to sit and just let this season go out. Yes, they are sitting ducks. They have no other choice. This is what they wanted. When they traded for AD, they mortgaged the entire future to get that ring. And they probably would have won a second ring if they stayed healthy. But that was the whole thing about going for AD in the first place, was he doesn't stay healthy. And it's, he's doing better as of late. But I mean, throughout this season, I've been seeing him, go over baskets and he's immediately going to his back. I mean, that doesn't look good for long term. If you're a young superstar that potentially could sign with the Lakers, let's say a year or two from now, if they don't get Kyrie Irving next offseason in free agency, they have to go into the next offseason again to try to go get AD some help, because LeBron's just going to stay in LA chilling and, making that money. He's not going anywhere. So you have to be able to find that second guy that when LeBron really falls into that third guy for the Lakers, who's going to be the second guy, and who wants to play with AD with the health issues he has? Because then that young player is going to feel it's just on him and possibly LeBron. And his health isn't going to be in question too as he gets into each year. It's just, father time, man. I mean, I know we see all the commercials.
Father Time stays undefeated, man. Like that's no lie. What's up?
Benedict Mathurin also has a better offensive rating per 100.
Oh, good God! Would you stop?
The numbers are the numbers, baby.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
What are we doing today, Chris?
100%. What is going on?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Like 2 weeks ago, I let everybody know that Paulo Banchero statistically was better than LeBron James this year. And then LeBron went to San Antonio for 3 games. The same San Antonio telling the truth about the
Stop with this stats crap, man.
Al's been waiting all show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to close with Al talking some 76ers and the greatness of Doc Rivers. Hey, I said it early. I've said it often, and people still haven't figured it out. I know who Doc Rivers is as a coach, and I've accepted him. I don't agree with his coaching philosophy, but I do agree that he is great. How do I know? Well, just go look at the numbers. Jay loves numbers. He keeps bringing up Paulo Banchero and Benedict Mathurin. But hey, numbers don't count for Doc. All right, 104-101, return of Joel Embiid. Al, we are 12-9. How do you feel? We're a quarter of the way through the season. What are your takeaways?
Actually, I'm happy. I'm surprised. We're 7-3 in our last 10. Won 3 in a row. Missing Embiid, Harden, and Maxey. We're beating good. Well, I was about to say we're beating good teams, but we played Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know if you call them a good team, because, dude,
the Hawks are better than the Sixers. Let's accept it. The Sixers won last night, but the Hawks are better. The Sixers are having a bad year. The Hawks are better.
So you're a Hawk fan?
Yeah. Hey, Mike. Mike. Have fun with Nate McMillan.
Yeah, and hold on. How you all healthy and you can't beat us? You're healthy.
I think the only coach
Nate
worse
McMillan.
than Doc.
Have fun with Nate McMillan.
Yeah, I think Nate might be a worse coach than Doc.
Well, he is, because he doesn't have Doc Rivers' greatness.
Oh my God, Chris!
I don't know what's going on with that team. Everybody told me how much better they were going to be because they had the dynamic backcourt and all that stuff. I told you, I needed to wait and see. I mean, stats and, greatness and other teams means nothing for your team. So I needed to see
breaking
it. They're
news.
not showing me anything right now. They're not showing me anything.
Breaking news.
What happened?
Chicago Bulls signed Billy Donovan to a 4-year contract extension.
Why?
What has he done to earn that?
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, well, Jay, you put it out there. I had said that they need to choose between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. And I tell you what, they signed Zach LaVine to a 4-year contract extension. They signed Billy Donovan to a 4-year contract
That
extension.
might tell you something.
There are two veterans who have they yet to sign a contract extension: DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic.
Wow, that might tell you something. Writing on the wall right there.
Well, I just want to put out there that at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time, maybe I scooped once again Shams. Just throwing that out there.
All right, so finishing up on the Sixers, and B comes back strong last night. He started off a little rusty, but ended up at his 30 again. I like the way we're playing now, but the question is, can we play like this when everybody comes back? So
that is a good
ball
question.
movement, the hustle, the defense. I like all of that. I still want Harold to be playing a lot more. I don't understand his beef with Harold. He wants to play b-ball more. I don't understand that. Could you please explain that to me, Chris? Because I can't.
Montrez is a dog with more bark than bite. I got to hit the button. I'm at 1:15. I got to get going. Hey, for everybody who's down below, appreciate you making any part of your day part of ours here on Hoop Spaces. We'll be back tomorrow, better than ever, continuing to build a better basketball community. 10 a.m. Remember, go over to slamgoods.com where you can use promo code HoopSpaces. Seriously, these Funko Pop things are going to get appreciative value. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save money, buy now, make more money later, and thank me. Promo code HoopSpaces. Slamgoods.com. Powered by Audiolabs.io over on YouTube. If you are down below and you are a content creator and you have an idea for some YouTube content, hit us up. We're putting together a good team to get content out to the people who understand that basketball is not controlled by ESPN. Shout out. Peace you tomorrow, 10 a.m. All right. If you are out on your bike tonight, do wear white. And a shout out to Tony Kornheiser.